It is Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, dudes and dudettes. How are you doing? Happy Wednesday to you all. It is me, Brian Clark, a.k.a. Clarkio, coming to you wide awake and ready to start the day with you all. And yes, the plan for today is to stress, keep stressing, and stress some more. No. Well, I mean, that's going to happen inevitably. This is the way I am. It's the way I operate. Whenever I have a talk, for whatever reason, I just freak out and stress the whole time, like a week beforehand. It takes a toll on me. But we'll get more into that in a minute. I want to warm up and catch up with you all. How is your week going so far? Hopefully better than mine. You know, we had 3 days. Well, we're into 3 days. We had 2 complete days. Starting off the third day of the week. Strong, maybe? Are you? What's up, JT? Good to see you. Pat1567, good to see you as well. .commie, thank you for being here. Pat says, you talking at angle brackets? Yes, I am. I am talking. I have 2 talks at angle brackets. One talk is on Node.js debugging, which is one I've done before. I just need to like polish it up and practice it and get back into the frame of mind with that talk again, because it's been a while since I've given it, and like update it to like latest and greatest stuff. And then the other one I'm doing is the one that I'm kind of stressing about. What's up, Yanni? Good to see you, man. I am stressing about the one where it's called Lights Camera AI, interactive chatbots with Twitch. Hey, Jay Felly Webb. Good to see you. Says feeling good working from home the rest of the week. Nice. That's awesome. What kind of work do you do, Jay Felly, if you don't mind sharing? So yeah, that talk, I gave it at TwitchCon last year, but the like message of that talk was about like, hey, you know, you could stream other stuff besides gaming on Twitch, really. That's kind of what it was going on about. And like, look at what we did on this stream, right? That's kind of what the message was there. What I'm thinking here, the message is, I'm kind of flip-flopping on it. I'm like, hey, maybe it is about just learning about the technology, like, because I want to get more technical with it. Obviously, I'm at a technical conference now instead of TwitchCon doing this talk. And so I've been kind of flip-flopping on what I'm doing with that. But I've been stressing out because the other thing is the bot that you all have been using that's part of the Twitch. That's the project I'm talking about. The light bot that lets you send commands in the chat to change the color of the light bulb and the color of my overlay you see on stream here. Directly through the commands there. So I'm doing a talk on that, and I want to get into the technical aspect of it. Bauer is jumping at the door. I had let him out prior to starting the stream, and I need to go let him in. So let's go into BRB. Aha! I took over on Clarkio here. Good to see you all. Happy Wednesday, my dudes and dudettes. It is me, the one, the only, the chair. The one you love. The one you come here to see. Chair. Me. Chair. Cherry chair is chair. Everybody loves chair. Yay for chair. Chair is the best. Yes. Chair. Okay. Chair is out. Oh, I can't do my so last week there was a lot of chair appearances on the stream, and chair's voice has hurt my voice, and I'm not feeling so well because of it. So we did this. We have a chair appearance. We will have a Bauer appearance. I'm going through today's goals and checklist that we got here. Gareth Hubble, thank you so much for the 2 months, my friend. Gareth says, come for Clarkio, stay for chair. Thank you for that, Hal JT. Yanni says, need those candy, what the help? Candy, what helped the voice? Oh, the lozenges? Yeah. .com says, this stream is starting off right. Good morning, William Comartin. How are you doing? What else we got here? Jay Felly says, I do web dev mostly with WordPress. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Mort Zuber, hello to you. Junchus, hello to you as well. Junchus says, hey, hello from the South Korea's beautiful and warm weather. Hey, that's awesome. I like to hear that. Welcome all the way from, what are you? Oh gosh, power. Okay, today's coffee mug is, I had to run up to the neighborhood, coffee place. No ads here. We get that out of the way. We're warming up and catching up right now. Garrett says, WordPress is something I've only ever used as a blog engine, never done any dev with it. To steal your... Yeah. Although I do like their rewards program, and the app is fantastic for it. Doing mobile orders, getting points for your order so you get free stuff every so often, that kind of thing. So I love it for that aspect of it when I get free stuff. Who doesn't like free stuff? William Comartin says, I've got a Starbucks coffee too, but brewed at home. Nice. Okay, fair enough. Mort Zuber says, I made an amazing iced coffee at home using Jack Daniels coffee. Jack Daniels? So that means there was a little spike in there? Is that right, Mort Zuber? Sad thing now is that I am now out and it is hard to get more. Oh no. Garrett says, I'm just running instant coffee at the moment. I mean, yeah. Do you? So I generally drink my coffee black. I've gotten to that point where I can enjoy it and gotten past the bitterness, I guess. Or enjoyed the bitterness. Maybe that's the right way to think about it. So I don't know. I don't like regular Starbucks coffee, but I'll get their other drinks that they might have. And I won't get cappuccinos from them anymore because generally, I know cappuccinos are supposed to be like this, but I've gone other places where they give me more cappuccino and cream than with it. Lord Zuber says, nope, non-alcoholic Jack Daniels coffee. Okay, interesting. So they'll, let's say this is the size of the cup. They give me that much in the cup. For everything that's part of the cappuccino. I'm like, come on. I've gone to other coffee shops where they give me these huge mugs and it's filled to the top. Don't jip me. So I don't get cappuccinos from Starbucks anymore. Judge says, I hope you have come to the South Korea because Korea is so awesome and wonderful state and you have a good taste food every day. I would love to go one day. One day. We'll see what happens though. That's a long trip too. The way I envision it is I'm going to be older, kids are in college, and then I'll start I'll save up a little nest egg of money with my wife and I, and we can just go travel the world kind of thing. Hopefully. That's the goal. That's the goal, right? Good morning, Ronan. Good to see you. How's your week been? Morzuber says, not sure if my link went through. Yeah, I see Jack Daniels coffee. Okay, cool. Let's check that out sometime. Thank you for sharing that. I didn't realize they made coffee. How is it? I take it you like it so much that you're worried about being out of it, right? Garrett says, I'm heading out to a card game shop later. They serve coffee and I'm dreading it because their coffee is not good at all. Even when they're in college and beyond, the kids will drain you, lol, until they're about 30-ish. Dang. Well, then that means my daughter's 2 now. I'm 31. Somebody do the math there. I'm going to have to wait until another 30 years. This just became a job. So when I'm 6, yeah, I'm about retiring age. I should be good there, Gareth, at least for her. We have another one, then I might extend that a little bit longer. Lennon, thank you so much. 15 freaking months in a row. Holy moly. Landon, Landon BR, aka Benjamin, one of the OG supporters of the stream here. Thank you so much, sir. That is dedication, and boy, oh boy. I appreciate you being here this long, man. That's nuts. Garrett says that'll do it. Garrett says, loving how I can track my Amazon delivery now, though. Yes, they tell you how many stops away it is, right? Yeah. Yanni says, I feel so melting right now. What happened? Why? Why are you melting? Are you melting because you're in a very hot place? Garrett says, in the UK, I can have a map for it, too. Nice. More Zuber says, oh, my God, it's so hot. It's heat. Okay, yeah. Robert Tables, good to see you, buddy. Dude, I still have to watch. But shout out to Robert Tables really quick. Of course. I still have to check out. I saw the clip. The one clip you shared on Twitter of that crazy stream where you're like climbing on roofs and doing car stuff and whatnot. I can't wait to watch it all. All right, BRB Gareth. Shiva, good to see you. Says good morning as well. Shiva, how's your week going? Yeah, I still have to watch. It's on my to-do list, man, but I've just been stressing out about this talk, and I've not watched really like anybody's streams for the most part. I've been slacking on everything because I'm just stressing about preparing for this talk, even though it's next week, and I still have plenty of time ahead of me. By the way, Hype Boss is almost out. James Montemagno is going to go down. What talk? So I have 2 talks coming up at Angle Brackets next week. Both are on Wednesday and one is on Wednesday, one is on Thursday of next week. And the one talk is on Node.js debugging. I'm not really worried about that one. I've done it before. I just need to like polish it up and get it and see if, and update it a little bit. The other one, which is on our project, basically the one that we originally made on this stream, it's the light bulb project that lets you change the color of the light bulb and the color of the overlay from commands and chat. That one, I did a talk on that at TwitchCon, but it was more about, the message was, I feel like I'm repeating myself. All right, this will be the last time for this stream. The message of the talk at TwitchCon was more so about like, hey, you should get started streaming whatever you're interested in streaming about. Twitch isn't just about gaming, and sooner or later Twitch is going to realize that. And I think they are starting to show some signs that they realize that. But like, that was the message of that talk. And I talked about how we took up things that we enjoyed doing as programmers, like creating engagement and interactivity through the chat, and turn this light bulb, internet connected light bulb, and the overlay. And I use my hands to talk a lot. But you get the idea. So that's the talk that I'm stressing about. And there's that delayed Robert Tables joined sound effect. William Cole Martin says, where are you doing the talk? Angle Brackets in Orlando, Florida, luckily. So like, I don't have to worry about traveling or nothing and spending time doing that. So I get extra time to prepare. Yanni says, my room temperature is 31 degrees Celsius, 87 degrees Fahrenheit, humidity. Holy moly, Yanni. That is hot, my man. Junches says, oh, your voice is so best voice. Like Ed Sheeran's voice for me? Get out of here. That's great. Okay. I'll take it, Junches. Thank you so much. I'm glad you like my voice. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Junches likes my voice. Yanni says, in Twitch Weekly, they tell updates on extensions on first segment of that show. Nice. That's good. Yeah, I think I've checked out Twitch Weekly a little bit. And Twitch Dev channel. Like I said, there's like, when I'm better about keeping up with things, I'm normally popping in at least for a few minutes to people's streams, but I've just... Let me tell you what happened. Let's do this too. So I'm updating my stream notes here. Electric Havoc in his house. What's up? I think I heard your sound effect go off already. So we did warm up, catch up with chat. We're talking about the what am we doing right now? We're saying get up to speed on talk prep. Move that up to there. All right, so that's what we're doing right now. And that's it. What? Get good, Brian. Yeah, get good, Brian. Get good, man. Whoa. Say it's like that. Yanni says this week Twitch don't do their Twitch Weekly show because of E3. Oh, nice. Okay. Forgot about E3. Dude, I've been living in a bubble right now. I'm under a rock lately. Yanni says there have been game devs to tell about their games. Goodness, yeah. Robert Tables says your talk will go amazing, Clark. Thank you, Robert Tables. I appreciate the confidence, but I'm still stressing nonetheless. I always stress. It really takes like a toll on my mind, my body. I don't know why I do this. Robert Tables says just keep in mind your audience is actually rooting for you. I know, but like I spend so much time. Like, let me tell you. Let's talk about stress now. I guess we'll talk about this after. Let me talk about my stress and how poor I am at dealing with it. It's actually 22 minutes, so this is gonna be like 20 something. Let's thank you for the 100 bits. Why do any of us do this? I don't know. I don't know why. Part of why I got into talking was because I felt like I wanted to share. I wanted to basically go and learn stuff and like distill it down into like something way easier so that people don't have to spend whatever amount of time I spent on it, which is usually many hours, probably days worth of time learning something, right? So my goal with like getting into talking was about like taking that subject, whatever it may be that might have interested me, that I learned about, and then breaking it down into something that's easier to understand than when I learned it, so that people can get a jump start, right? So like it's just kind of helping share information. Like that's what I'm about, helping other people out with that. And for whatever reason, like I built up this habit of getting stressed out about like wanting it to be perfect and wanting it to go really well. And it's like, I got to remind myself, like, no, it doesn't need to be perfect. You just need to get the message across. But the preparation too, though, like makes me think, there's so much stuff that goes through my mind. Like, oh, I could do this. Oh, I could do that. Oh, I'm just terrible about keeping that kind of stuff like in line and just get straight to the point, which I had like a moment of, what's the word I'm looking for? A moment of clarity, I guess, maybe last night when I was showering before bed. It always happens in the shower, right? Right, folks? It always happens in the shower. I was thinking about the talk, of course. Like yesterday, I spent like the entire day, besides maybe like at the end of 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock ish, when my wife ended up go picking up my daughter because she knew I was stressing out working on stuff. And when they came home, that's when I went straight into like, dad mode and everything. And then that helped me kind of clear my head. And that was for a few hours until the kid went to bed. And then I started thinking about the talk more. So anyway, before bed, taking a shower, and I had a moment of clarity where I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to do for the talk, which we're going to get into more when we start doing the preparation part of this stream today, which is why I switched the subject for today so that we can focus on it. And I don't feel like I'm losing time being able to work on that. But let's talk about stress, because yesterday I was stressing really so badly that, and I'm not proud of this. Like, I'm not sharing this to be like, oh, this is cool. For those of you that might think like hustle, you got this hustle mentality, like you just got to keep grinding it out and like, yeah, man, like this is not cool when this kind of stuff happens, because it takes a toll on your health. And like, that's priority over this other shit. But so yesterday I ended up missing, like I just completely like disregarded lunch, and I completely like just barely stepped out to go to the bathroom from this office. Even the bathroom's like right over there. And so yeah, I've been stressing out about that talk so much. So yesterday I was banging my head against the wall trying to get, basically the project is using Azure Bot Framework version 3. That version is going away, or no, it's going to no longer be supported by the end of this year. So I'm like, I need to update this talk to use the new version of the bot framework, because otherwise it's like, what's the point in sharing that information with the audience? So I spent part of Monday and like all day yesterday, just banging my head against the wall trying to take what we have in terms of documentation and sample projects and just making it simple enough to understand. Like, one, I had to get my understanding and grip around it. And two, I wanted to like create a sample that was simple enough. And I think I'm there, and I'm going to show that on stream today too. So let me catch up on chat now. All right. Ronan says, Clarkio, that breaking things down concept is really popular, and it seems like a lot of people want it. Fun Function started out as that kind of thing. Yep, for sure. And I think it's part of what gave it such a following. Maybe worth creating something like that from your learns from stream. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great idea, Ronan. And that's kind of why, like, I'm trying to, with these streams, let's talk about that. I'm trying to do these stream notes more. Thank you again. Shout out to, I can't say it enough. Thank you to Michael Jolly and Robert Tables for kind of inspiring this whole stream notes idea. Or not definitely inspiring it, right? But where I like, from there, the value I'm seeing is like, people can't always make it to the stream live, but they might want to go watch that later on. And there's so many hours of things that we've done on stream that might be helpful for somebody that kind of just get lost in the ether. I mean, they still are recorded and saved, and I post them and share them on Twitch and on YouTube now. And so people can go back and see it, but then they would have to spend the full amount of time to go find the thing that might be interesting to them. The stream notes with the timestamps especially help people go and jump right to where they want to go and learn more about whatever it is that we were working on for that day. So that's kind of where I think we're leading with, to your idea there, Ronan, I think where we're going with this whole thing. Electric Habit says, yeah, I made that mistake. Sometimes you just need to press the live button and not worry. There will be an hour of staring at the desk thinking. What's that in reference to? I think I'm losing context there on that. Yanni says, embrace the moment during the talk and it's going fine. I know, once I get into the talk, I'll be fine. But it's this time leading up to it where I just stress so bad that it seriously does take a toll on me mentally and physically. And physically meaning like yesterday, it's like blew through lunch. I didn't have lunch. I had like one of the little, you all that have been here have seen it before. I had these little like vegetable and fruit like pureed pouch things. They're basically, I call them adult juice boxes. That was the only thing that I really had yesterday for lunch. I had decent breakfast though, so I'll give that at least. But that's because it was before I started into the day and stressing. Shiva says, preparation is stress part in presentation. Yep. Streamlining thoughts and trimming cause more stress. Yes. Thomas Lewis. Hey, Thomas Lewis is my boss. What's up, Thomas? Says, hopefully your manager isn't giving you too much stress. That stress comes from a good place where you want to do a great job for the audience. That's exactly. It's not from you, Thomas. No. Oh my gosh. Now I feel the pressure, man. I didn't realize you were here. Good to see you though. Thank you for coming by the stream, Thomas. Hugo. Good, Brian. Hugo says, good morning, Clarkster and friends. What's up, Hugo? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Shiva says, version 4 is totally different. Yes, from version 3. Oh boy, yes. And boy, do I have feedback to give to the product team, or at least the documentation people, which I already have an email thread going with them, and I have some notes going on with what I've learned that's kind of confusing with the docs and stuff like that. At least from a JavaScript perspective, because they have documentation around JavaScript and C#, and I haven't been looking at the C# side of things. I've been focusing on the JavaScript stuff, and so I'll have feedback for the product teams there that work on Azure Bot Framework. So yeah, that's the other benefit of doing these talks. It's like it kind of forces that whole situation to happen, to like go through it fresh again, and then gather feedback to provide to the different teams that within the company internally. Ron says, also live streams tend to be long, distilled, focused answers are what a lot of people are looking for in talks. Yes. Yes, for sure. Robert Tables says, Clark, sometimes when I'm feeling a little off, I like going back to older stream notes and reminding myself how much we've grown. Nice. Thomas says, howdy. Howdy, Thomas. No pressure. All good. Okay. Junches, hey, says, I know the very good song for you. Ariana Grande's song of Be All Right is so cool music. So I want to listen to the music for your better life, Clark. Thank you, Junches. I appreciate that. All the way from, dude, I'm still so amazed that you're joining us all the way from South Korea. What time is it over by you, Junches? Eldrick Havoc says, I work from home, and you would think I would have more time in general. Can't tell you how many days I miss breakfast/lunch. I know, it's crazy how that can happen, right? That's happened to me all too often. Way more working remotely than when I was in an office. I think partly the reason for that is because in the office, there's people around you to be like, hey, it's go time. Either you go eat lunch by yourself or you're coming with us and we're going somewhere, Like you see the motion going and it's like, okay, I should probably stop what I'm doing and move to that to take a break, And the other thing is like, it's good to take that break because then you get those moments of clarity. Like I was saying before, when I was in the shower last night, it's like, okay, this is what I'm going to do with this talk now. Or at least I'm going to run it by you all and see what you think too. That's the other benefit I think of doing this on stream. You all can give me feedback before the actual live audience so that the live audience gets an even better talk, right? We're going to do this together. Electric Havoc, I read that already. So yeah, I think stepping away for a moment really helps kind of clear your mind, and then it'll actually get you to the whatever it is that you're trying to do faster. Hugo Dahl says, for days like that, when blowing through lunch, keep some hard-boiled eggs on hand, 1 to 2 with a bit of salt, pepper, seasoning of choice for a quick protein lunch. That's a fantastic idea, Hugo. I like that. Normally we've had lunches prepared ahead of time. But sometimes when we don't do that, then I will. And like, I know I'm going to need, like what happened yesterday was I was like, I knew I needed to either prepare lunch for myself or go out and get some. And I was like, that's going to be too much time out of my day that would take away from me making progress on learning about this new version of the framework. That's the way my mental state was yesterday. And I'm like, come on, I can't be doing that, you know? Shiva says, C# is better than Node.js and Bot Framework. Unlearning version 3 and learning 4 took some time. I made a talk in Philly.net code camp. Nice. A lot of middleware improvements in version 4. I like their enterprise template. So we're gonna get into that, Shiva, and I hope you can stick around for that because I'd love to hear your side of things and what your experience is and what you learned. Maybe you can help me improve my understanding of things. But I kind of don't like the middleware stuff based on the way it was in version 3. And I'm gonna I'll show everybody that in just a moment. I'm just catching up on chat. Chat, you know you're my highest priority for the stream. Although today it should be the talk. Hugo says, just like Pomodoro, set a timer for lunch. Yeah, that's a habit I need to build. Ronan says, my dogs force me to take a break. That's true. They do help. They come up and nose me like, hey man, maybe stand up and go outside with us for a minute. Yeah. That's true. Hugo says, eggs, cheese, nuts are good to keep on hand. I do usually keep those on hand. So like I have pistachio nuts on my desk here. I usually have almonds. That's such a fun word. Almonds. Source Scoot says, when I'm really stuck on something, I go out and take a walk, no matter where I'm working. Yeah, I should have done that yesterday. I was really banging my head against the wall. I couldn't get the framework to. So I'll go into details in a minute. Bear with me. I'm almost caught up on chat. Hugo says, but then lack of food negatively impacts your mental state even more. Yeah, definitely was feeling that. Juncha says, I have a follow your Instagram account. Oh, that's good. Thank you. And I have Korea's food for tongue dark right now. Nice. That sounds good. What is that? Tell me what kind of food that is. Is it like what's composed? What is tongue dark? I hope you're not like trying to get me to say something that might be bad. Hugo says, almonds, yeah, can be fun. It's not aluminium, though. Did I say aluminium right? Here in the US, we say aluminum. Don't you dare, Robert Tables. Don't you dare. All right. We talked about stress. We talked about that. I don't know. We'll say this is like 20-something. And now we're going to get into I'm going to switch over so you can see what I'm doing. We haven't had a Bauer appearance yet, but we will. Shreyas, what's up? Juncha says, tongue dark is like chicken food. Okay, cool. Make progress on the camera lights talk updates. Okay, so we're going to start doing that now. This is at time marker 0334, not 03. 0034. Let's just say 35. Put it right there. Bam. That's what we're going to do. And we got to make sure we change the category. Change the category. I have to remind myself to do this stuff. We're in science and technology now, folks. Are you ready? We're going from just chatting to science and technology. Prepare yourselves. On your mark. Get set. Go! Just kidding. Okay. So, let me show you. This is what the current code is. Now, albeit it is not pretty code, okay? And it's been a while since I've looked at this, but this is the code. This is the AI bot. I went on mute, and you can hear that now because I didn't want to cough in your ear. This is the bot that's actually powering the light bulb that's shining on my ugly mug, okay? So, and using AI to interpret what you're trying to do to control the light bulb. Okay, this is the existing one. This is using Bot Framework version 3. That's where we see Bot Builder. There you go. Thank you, William Cole-Martin, for showing a demonstration of that. And the overlay changes color, but that's separate. Kind of separate. It's separate from this code, at least. Okay, so this is what it was before. I know it's all in one file. It's ugly. It's not really following good patterns and practices. But remember, when we built this, and I haven't revisited it to like really do refactoring on it. But I want to show you this because this is what's running right now. It's working. We don't have Azure yet. Although I started actually when I was building out the version 4 of this. I started adding Azure and other colors in there, so we'll see if that works out. .commie. What's up, Codeman? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. How's your week been? So it's to me, I feel like it's very simple and straightforward. It probably took me a little bit to, if I go back in like the recordings of the stream, it probably took me a little bit to get acquainted with all this. But I still like looking at it now, like revisiting this. I'm like, it's very straightforward to me. We create something that connects to the bot service up in Azure. That's the connector. And then I pass that in to create a bot instance. And then this is the part that I was struggling with the new framework. This Lewis recognizer. This is the thing that like hooks us up to the language understanding and I forget what the interpretation service. That's what Lewis stands for, I believe. Don't quote me on that, though. It's our AI that's in Azure that lets us do language understanding. So it's basically saying, if you say a sentence or like through recording of voice, maybe, or through text, which is what we're doing through the commands here, it will take that, figure out what you're intending to do based on its training. The AI has been trained to understand certain things. So we have it trained to understand what somebody might say to try and control this light. They might say, turn the light on, turn the light off. Turn the light to blue, turn the light to red, right? These are the things it's been trained on. And so when that message comes through in the chat here, it gets sent over to this bot, which then hooks up to Lewis and says, hey, here's the message we received. We want you to interpret for us. And then Lewis, based on its training, will do its thing and then parse that out and send the results to us here in the code. And that's where this part comes into play. If the intent of the message is for the lights, then, and that's the way the AI interpreted to be, then we're going to go and say, let's run the handle lights intent function. That's generally the flow of things. So control click into that, and here we are. So now I'm doing things like getting what, like if we were to have more than one light, that's why the location is there, but we probably just get rid of that since it's just the one light. We figure out what color it might be, if it's just a single color. If it's multiple colors, we try to get that as well, just to see. And this is just me gathering that and using, look, entity builder has an entity recognizer and says, find the entity from the args that were received from the AI, passed in here. And based on this entity name that I have in my constants, and I'll show you that really quick. So it's like all these that I did here. So we did a little bit better by refactoring constants out at least, right? No magic strings. Magic strings, folks. So you get the flow of this, right? That's it. That's basically the two things that we're doing here. We're setting up the bot, and then we're telling it to hook up to our Lewis model, which is based on this URL here, and we pass in the token that we. Oh no, that's different. That's for the LIFX part. Disregard that. That's not as important right now. And that's it. Now let me show you what this looks like in version 4, at least once I got it kind of working. It's almost in a working, actually it was working this morning, so we'll see. Let me show you the folder structure too. I want you to see all this. Oops. Let me switch back actually. So let's look at the difference here. Well, there's two things that are different actually. So in version 3 with Node and in C# you could use Azure Functions. Version 4, it looks like you cannot use Azure Functions to be your host of the bot up in Azure. You have to use what's called Azure App Service, which is our platform as a service offering up in Azure, which is fine, but I was hoping to continue to follow this same type of pattern that I was doing. So that's one major difference that I saw between using the SDK version 3 for the bot framework and version 4. Okay, so just a heads up on that in case you're looking to do this kind of thing too.
Get good,
or,
Brian.
Hey, what's up, Get Good, Brian? It's always fun to see you here. Thank you for joining. Ron says, trained, isn't that just an if statement? If blue, make light blue? No. The AI is trained to recognize, like to parse out the message to say that the message has a color and the color is blue. The message is intended for the lights and the light is this light, you know, like that kind of thing is what it's doing. Coleman says, my week, a blur. Yours? Kind of, yeah, a blur. William Kumar says, today I learned Azure is a color. It is a color. Azure. And now I'm caught up on chat. So that's the major difference in this. I'm using Azure Functions here, and I'm able to run and debug this locally if I wanted to as well. You can do the same here with this other one, you'll see. And so now the other difference, so going from that to this is the project structure. It's partially generated from when you spin up a new instance of this thing, this Azure Bot web app. It's called Web App Bot. Let me show you in the portal here. So if you go in here and you say create new resource and you search for Web App Bot, it's that one. But if you just search for bot, you'll see there's Web App Bot, there's Functions Bot. Those are the two bots. So in the past, Functions Bot is what I use, but that can only use Bot Framework version 3. So we went with Web App Bot. And that basically just means it's using Azure App Service behind the scenes right there as web app to host this whole bot. Or that's where we're deploying the bot to. Robert Taylor says, AI isn't just a bunch of if statements. It's more sophisticated. It's actually just a bunch of switch statements. Kappa. Well put, Robert Tables. Well put. So there's a significant difference. But anyway, when you create that, it ends up generating code for you. And then you can download it. So if I go to my resources and I search for this bot, and the latest one I created here is this Clarkio Twitch Lite bot. I click on that. And if you go into build, download bot source code. So that it kind of spins up with some sample source code for you right away. Now, what that looks like is different than what I'm going to show you because I had to change it to get it to working. I wanted to change it to work the same way that the bot that's already deployed and running, but using version 3, right? So this is where I landed. In fact, you know what? I kind of want to show you. Do I want to go into this detail? Maybe. We'll see. Just there was a lot more folders here. I mean, you can see a lot more files too that come with it, like deploy CMD. This is all stuff that helps, I guess, make it easier to run Node in app service, right? That's what this stuff is kind of about here. Like web config. These are all things that are not really typical for us as Node developers, for one. So that's one thing that kind of stood out to me. But for two, there was the way the flow of the bot worked, right? So let's go back to version 3 to understand the flow a little bit more. Okay, we have, well, since this is an Azure function, like the Azure function is triggered by an HTTP request, right? So what'll happen is this will all spin up and start running on an HTTP request. And it will then say, hey, right here, the dialog is at this route, essentially. And then I pass in the intents that were generated from this bot builder intent dialog. Okay, so that's all I needed to do was just say, hey, bot, here's your dialog. It's going to be on this route. So it's kind of handling the HTTP request for us. And then we pass in the intents that when the request comes in, that gets routed through this stuff, the intents here, right? Which essentially is just saying, hey, pass that message along to the AI. And then when the AI responds back, go into these callbacks depending on what the intent is, whether it's lights, cancel, help, or greeting, right? So we'll say it's the lights one. And then that's it. Like, that's the flow of things right there. When you go to the new one, it's a little harder. And again, this is just maybe my lack of understanding. But like the way I learn is not by reading docs, to be honest. I learn by like kind of skimming through docs, but like focusing on the code samples that they have in the documentation. Especially when I'm jumping to a new version of something, right? Because then I feel like I already know the thing that I'm using. I just need to understand the code changes, right? So that's where I think I kind of went wrong a little bit. Anyway, Gekka Brian says, how's it going today, everyone? It's going fairly well. Just stressing a lot because I have these talks coming up. Good, Brian. This just became Rambling Geek. Thank you for subscribing 5 months in a row. Rambling Geek says, hello, swing by to say hi in work. Won't be able to hang out too long. All right. Well, I hope you have a good day at work, Rambling Geek. Thank you so much for swinging by and for the continued sub. Glad to have you still on the team. Codeman says, you're good at talking, Clarkio. Yeah, what do you mean? I don't know. Maybe. Yes, thank you. Thank you for that compliment. Hold on, let me back up. Sorry. Thank you, Codeman, for that compliment. Do you mean like on here, though? Because, like, I don't know, man. I have my doubts about myself. But that's my problem, not yours. Okay. So you'll notice now, since we're going to app service, we need to create up our API, a REST API that we can make requests to. So that's why in this case, we have an index.js to spin up a node server using Restify. If you're not familiar with Restify, it's basically a framework that lets you easily, or at least simplifies, creating a REST API in Node.js. That's hence the name Restify. Restify your Node.js app. So that's what that's kind of doing for us. And to show you the rest of that, we end up creating a server here with Restify, and then we say just listen, and that's it on this port. And then the other part of it is we also say that we want to create a route that's a post that only accepts post requests. If you're not familiar with that, it's again, REST is, I forget what REST stands for. Who knows what REST stands for? Say it in the chat. In any case, though, it's talking about HTTP. The gist of it is HTTP verbs. Those verbs are get, there's a lot of them actually, but the main ones are get, post, put, there is patch, but nobody really uses it, and they probably should, and delete. So there's 5, but people usually just use 4, which is get, post, put, and delete, right? Yeah. Patch is the one that people tend to forget about.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Michael Jolly, I don't know what's going on, but there's the delayed sound effect for you joining. Thank you for being here, buddy. It says Restify. It's basically Jamaican JavaScript. Restify. Hugo Dahl's saying the same thing. Not to be confused with Rastify. Yes. Roden says REST stands for Representational State Transfer. Thank you. Thank you. And JT says that as well. Both spot on. Good job. Thank you for helping answer that question. Codeman says, if you can talk with a rough draft being talking about X project today, you can make a talk that you have time to prepare an outline for. If you can talk with a rough draft being talking about X project today, you can make a talk that you have time to prepare an outline for. Yeah, that's true. Hugo Dahl says, what about option, head? That's why I said there's other HTTP verbs, yes. But the main ones is the one I was talking about. Michael Joe says, man, you got to put the JSON. Do you like that accent? Electric Hub says, delay is powered by comedian level timing AI. I like that. Well put, Electric Havoc, well put. All right, so this creates an API that accepts post requests, and the route is API messages. So that's the thing that we're going to send messages to talk to the bot. And then the bot starts responding and doing its thing from there. But I want that. So that's what the server is doing. We spin up a server that does that. That's the server aspect of this whole thing. And then we're done with it. The rest is the bot. And that's where I pull in from bot builder, bot framework adapter. What else is actually on here? If we do comma control space, there's just bot adapter. That's the base class though. So actually I think what I think I've concluded from looking at, I guess, let me go and just show you. I need to show you what we were dealing with here. Do I have the original zip that I downloaded from there? Thinking. They also have examples on GitHub though, right? Where did I put that? Where's the link to documentation? Thank you, JT. Hugo says, puts on sunglasses. I'm not most devs. What do you mean? I said that? Did I? I didn't say that. Shiva, thank you for the link, buddy. That was a total guess, JT? No, there it is. You got it. I think what I ended up doing was I chose NLP. .NET Core JavaScript is this one. I think this is the one. Hey, thank you so much for that follow, Listhalion. Let me know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. In any case, happy to have you here. Welcome. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in chat. No question is a stupid question. We're a very warm and welcoming community here. Otherwise, sit back, relax, and let's learn together. NLP with dispatch. So yeah, like what is dispatch? NLP stands for natural language processing, meaning we're using Lewis AI. We can use a question and answer maker kind of thing, which sounds cool. I like that idea actually. But I really just want to, like, again, I know it's very like specific to me, but the struggle was, how do I convert my existing one thing that's using Bot Framework version 3 to version 4? But let's take a look at the structure of this. So you can see Octotree getting in my way. This is actually a lot simpler than that gets generated. Probably because they removed stuff from being pushed to Git. Why did they put their env file? Okay, it's empty. Whew, scared me there. Bots. This one doesn't exactly show what I was looking to show. So let's go back to Java. Let's do Echo Bot. Maybe that one has it. No. So there's this, one of them does this folder of like dialogues and like all this other stuff that I'm like, what is this about? Yeah, like this is an example. So I'm not familiar. I wasn't familiar with this before Monday and Tuesday. And I step into this and I'm like, what is resources about? Adaptive card. What is a card? What is it? And then I'm like, why are there so many different bots? Like I just have one bot. What are these dialogues? I just have one dialogue. What is a waterfall dialogue, right? And then it starts going like, how do you do this step and show card step? And like, I'm like, this is totally confusing the heck out of me. I just want to like receive messages, send that message to my AI and go back. So that's kind of where I was. Again, I have a lot of feedback that I've taken at least mental note of, or I've written it down. I have written a lot of it down. And that's about it. Multilingual bot, maybe that's it. I feel like I got this one, complex dialogue. But this whole project structure seems simple to me still. I don't know. It felt like I was overwhelmed by how many files were there that were part of the project when I downloaded from where was I? From here. When you do download bot source code, it gives you a zip file that you can load up locally and look at the source code that way. Anyway, I digress. So you get the idea of where the struggle I was feeling with. So anyway, I broke it down and simplified it to where I just have one bot folder and I just put everything in there, I guess. And I made a main bot that has this Lewis helper, which is actually something that I really like. The Lewis helpers, and because this is like abstracting all the stuff that's dealing with Lewis into a separate file, which is what we should have done with my existing version that's running the bulb right now. So that's great. And the main bot, I just listen for when, oh, let's back up. So we have this, and when we want to set up we spin this up, we want to set up the bot, we want to set up our bot, right? So we set up the server. How do we set up the bot that the server is going to allow us to call to, which is this adapter right here, right? So let's talk about that. So I got to pull in bot builder, npm install that, pull out the bot framework adapter. Then I also want to set up my main bot. That's going to be the code that actually does all the logic for the bot, right? So we're going to abstract that into a separate thing outside of this server index setup file. We're getting environment stuff. And then here's where we start building out the bot. We use the bot framework adapter, we create a new one of those, and we pass in what's called our app ID, app password, and if these are available. I think these are two optional fields. I don't have any environment variables that are related to that, so those just come back undefined. They're optional. So app ID and app password is just kind of, when you create this resource up in Azure, you will have an app ID and app password so that you can kind of connect to that, tie everything together. It's a way of identifying the application with other services you might interact with in Azure, basically. Then we say adapter on turn error. So this is the other thing that was new to me, this terminology of turn. And so if we think about like with a bot, they take the approach of like, I don't know, maybe using more human terms in terms of having a conversation with somebody, right? So it's like I'm talking right now, and if somebody's in front of me and we're having this conversation, it's my turn, and then on their turn they would go and do something and take action, speak, or whatever it may be, right? So you're thinking about like we are talking to the bot, so sometimes it's our turn where we're sending a message or creating some type of activity, and then the bot either receives that, and then it's their turn to do something as a result of in response to that, right? So it's kind of like that's the back and forth. So that's where this terminology I believe comes from. It's like on turn. But what we want to capture here is like maybe on someone's turn, an exception might get thrown within the bot running, right? So that's what this adapter does, is a catch-all for the errors, And right now we just, console log it and then send that activity saying, hey, I failed here, but the bot keeps rolling and doing its thing. Let me pause there and catch up on chat because I see some stuff going on there. Speaking of whose turn it is to talk. You all have been talking. Now it's my turn. You've been talking in chat, that is. Shiva says, dispatch is tool that routing to multiple Lewis services. Okay. Thank you so much for being here and helping explain these things. Hugo says, Clarkio is using Octotree. Very nice. Was hoping one of the big GitHub announcements was that they were rolling it into the site. Yes. So I do love Octotree. What Hugo Dahl is talking about is this thing right here, because it lets you kind of step through the whole repo, and like this repo is huge, clearly. But if you let's go to a simple one. So you can see the full folder and project structure, rather, with files and folders in a view like this. I just don't like that it gets in the way sometimes. When I have it like that and I accidentally mouse over it, I probably should just leave it like this and then pay for it and get it in dark mode as well. But I digress. So that's what that's about. Thank you for bringing that up, Hugo. I think that'd be helpful to people that might be interested in using that extension. It's called Octotree. I don't have a link handy right now, but somebody in chat might be able to help. ZFC says, is Azure Microsoft's version of AWS? Yes. ZFC says, I'm not really understanding either AWS, GCP, or Azure when I pay 1/3 of the price of the same box on DigitalOcean. Okay. I mean, if you want to hit me up on our Discord, we can talk more directly about like what kind of stuff you're doing and like how that might compare. Maybe there's something I can help you clarify, at least when it comes to Azure, to try and pull off the same thing that you have with DigitalOcean. But I mean, if you're happy with DigitalOcean, stick with DigitalOcean. I mean, I'm not gonna push any other cloud on you. Mort Zuber says, gotta run. Good luck with the talk. Thank you, Mort Zuber, for being here. Appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day, man, and week. ZFC says, if I just wanted a box to host an app. Well, I think if you spin up a VM, it's probably going to be a little bit more costly on the other cloud servers than if you do platform as a service. Meaning if you spend like the platform as a service offering in Azure is Azure App Service. On AWS, I think it's like what, EC2 or I don't know. I should know these things, but I don't. Wivy RS says, if you just want a simple VPS that is not too important, DigitalOcean works fine. Well, there you go. Thank you for helping share and clarify that, Wivy RS. Hugo, thank you for the link to Octotree. Hybrid Drag says, what are you coding? I'm not really coding today, so if you check out the today command, today hybrid drags, we're working on a talk about what we've already coded. Hugo says, which is Chrome only, but Chrome only also covers a Chromium-based Microsoft Edge distributions. Nice. William Comartin says, AWS has Elastic Beanstalk. Okay, thank you for clarifying, William. The language I predominantly work with, Hybrid Drags, is JavaScript and Node.js. Okay. Where were we? So we're talking about on-turn error. So now what I end up doing is I create my bot. Remember, we pulled that in up here, main bot. So I'm going to say, hey, new main bot, assign it to this bot variable, this constant. And then that's when we say in here, we're going to say the adapter, when an activity comes in, basically when a request comes into the API messages API, the adapter is going to try to process that activity. And then asynchronously, this callback gets registered here, where it's going to get passed in an argument or a parameter. I always forget if it's argument or parameter. Parameter. There you go. Tells you right there, Brian. This parameter turn context, which we then pass into the bot on the run command. So let's step into what that is doing. Nope. In our main bot, this thing. So this is where I was kind of when I was reflecting last night on what I accomplished yesterday and like all the struggles I was having. Part of what I was struggling with, right, even though I have a C# .NET background and Java background and object-oriented programming background, it's been a long time since I have done that kind of programming. Hybrid Dregs, thank you so much for that follow. Welcome. Happy to have you here. As you probably already noticed, no question is a stupid question, so please don't hesitate to ask. Otherwise, sit back, relax, and let's learn together, buddy. So knowing that that's my background, it's been a long time since I've really done a lot of inheritance type stuff. And I think what confused me, and thank you so much, Pat, for sharing that clip. What confused me a little bit in getting acquainted with the new version of the bot framework is they are using more modern JavaScript where you can actually use classes and you can do some inheritance kind of stuff. And so what threw me for a loop a little bit is like, let's step back here, right? And this is what reminded me of this. We're calling on our bot, which is the main bot type, right? That class, we're calling a run function. If we go into the main bot file, do any of you see a run function in here? No, you don't. If you did, you might be seeing things, and you should probably sit down and see a doctor. That was a very bad dad joke. Anyway, moving on. There's no run here. So I'm like, where is it? Where is it? For like a good 5 minutes probably. And then I was like, oh, it's extending activity handler. Let's step into that and see what that's about. So control click. Luckily, there are tight definitions because I guess it was built in TypeScript. So declared a class activity handler, and then here it has on turn, it has on message, which is what I'm using here. This dot on message, on member ended, on conversation update, on members removed, on event, on token response. And this is great because it's all well. I like the code comments here help me understand like what's the intent of these things a little bit better, right? Receives only. Wait a minute, shouldn't it be above it? On members added. Receives only conversation update activities representing members being added. Context activity members added will include at least one entry. Okay. Anyway, it's commented pretty well. On dialogue. I thought I might need that. Run. There it is. There's the run. So it just kind of... The super, which is this part right here, it's saying, hey, call the parent thing that I'm inheriting from in this class inside my constructor to start that up and create all the basic things. And then I believe this is essentially like, and I'm trying to reflect and recall back in my C#.NET object-oriented programming days, this is like a method override of the parent class. So if I don't have this actually written out, then it will default back to the onMessage handler in the activity handler class, right? Those of you that are better at this, let me know. Make sure I'm understanding this correctly. Because the other thing is I want to make sure that when I'm speaking about this in the talk, I'm speaking at least somewhat intelligently about it. So that's what's happening there. And I'm like, okay, run happens. So I believe there's a sequence of events. And maybe Shiva, you can tell us what the correct pattern is. There's also documentation that I probably should read more about. Where are the docs for this? Let's go to docs.microsoft.com. Go to Azure. Let's turn off dark mode. Get ready for your eyes to go. Whoa. What happened there? Turn it off. Let's refresh. There we go. Your eyes are burning now. If we go to products and we go to AI machine learning, I think that's how I went to it. And then cognitive services and my eyes. And then get intent using Lewis using Node.js. I click on that. And I think this is kind of where I went. Concepts is where I want to. No, that's not it. I have the links in my notes, which are right here. How bots work. Let's just do that. It's the ghost of Clarkio. So here you go. Bot framework service bot. All right, let me catch up on chat because I feel like there's a lot going on, and you're all just trying to catch my attention with these bulb changes. Hybrid Drag says I work with C# and Java, but I don't like Java. All right, fair enough. You should use what you enjoy. Well, as long as you can with your job, depending on what your job requires you to do. Should work with what you enjoy, my man. Codeman says, I spoke to my boss the other day, told him I was unhappy and wanted to leave the team for a different project. Oh, no. I hope everything went well with that conversation, Codeman. He blew smoke up my bum for about 30 minutes about how great I was and how he didn't want to lose me. Then said he knew I wasn't unhappy. I wasn't happy. Oh, okay, that's good. Which was why he didn't select me to go to a conference for the tech we use. How does that make sense? If you're not happy, well, well, I'm assuming you would want to go to a conference, right? But maybe you didn't. William says, I'm a big fan of TypeScript. I like me some TypeScript to some extent, but there's been points where, again, probably partly on my fault, but partly on like the intuitiveness of TypeScript and the tooling around it sometimes. I feel like it gets in the way of me making progress. That's my honest answer to that. Pat says, as someone coming from C# and OOP, I really enjoy TypeScript over JS as well. I can totally see that and understand it, and I think that's where TypeScript really shines for developers that are coming from that kind of experience. I think it's greatly helpful to do it that way. But if you come from like a vanilla JavaScript background, like that's how you learned about JavaScript and web development, and you go into TypeScript, it might be a little bit more, it's going to feel more cumbersome to you, I think. At least that's been my experience. Pat says, we all must suffer together. Yanni says, you can turn it into dark mode. You can? Oh, you're right. Goodness. Yanni. I think I knew that, but I forgot. Yanni says, the Hugo doll have turned green? Yes. Seropian, hey, welcome, says, I like the idea of TypeScript, but whenever I actually see TypeScript code, it really rubs me the wrong way. Function signatures sometimes become unreadable. Oh, you mean with, like, defining the types and stuff like that? Like, so, something like, let's go write this out. So, like, if I were to create a new function here, I don't know, like, static, whatever, test, and then I would be like, I want to take in a parameter called name and it's string, and then I want to right? That's what you're talking about? Yeah, I think if you have a lot of arguments or parameters for your function or method, yeah, it can get a little unwieldy. Michael Jolly says, I'm getting into more vanilla JS, but transitioning via TypeScript from C# eased that learning curve majority. Yeah, dude, I could totally see that, and I keep hearing a lot of testimony around that kind of aspect of it for TypeScript. William Co. Martin says, depends on the project in my experience. The larger a project gets, the more important types become. That's fair. I think that's a fair point. Seropian says, yeah, simple types are fine, but the complex ones make it look messy. Yes. What project were we working on? I think it was for sure, the VS Code extension that we built. Do I have that in here? Where is it? Twitch line highlighter. This one's in TypeScript, and there's been situations where my dog Max is snoring underneath the desk right now. I'm just where like sometimes I should maybe abstract these things into a class of their own. Anyway, some of the parameters that get passed into it, which then starts creating more classes, more files, more things to manage. It's like you gotta strike a balance with it, I think. I don't have a good example offhand that I can think of here. In here, maybe? No, highlighter. Highlighter, making the class highlighter made sense to me. But there was another situation where it was like hit or miss whether I should turn those things into a class or not. Anyway, that's that project. Oh no. This is the one thing I think I really miss from Sublime is being able to just like I can close a single instance of Sublime and I didn't have a file saved, but it will save it kind of for me temporarily. VS Code does do that, but you have to close VS Code in completely, like all your instances at once for it to actually save the files, I think. The ones that or to save those temp files for you, unless somebody knows a way of doing that. What is all this? I don't need that. I went and hid my screen because I'm not sure if I had like keys in these notes or something like that. Uh, okay. I end up having to save that file. Okay. We're back. William Co says, I've lost the file that way. Such a pain. I know. So they implemented, like, I love the VS Code team. They put out a lot of amazing features, and they do it at a cadence that's like wicked fast. Every month, new stuff is coming out. And I remember when they added that functionality, I was like, oh, this is amazing that they're going to do that. But you have to, like, but then I, like, in practice, seeing it work, it's been a little funky to me in terms of being able to save the temporary files. So it hasn't been quite the same. But hopefully it's on their radar. I believe it's probably on their radar. Somebody probably, they have 5,000 open issues on their repo. And I'm willing to bet that one of those issues is that, like, saving temporary files on close is not actually working the same as it did in Sublime. Anyway, all right, where were we? So the on run, I believe there's a sequence of things that get called when you spin up a bot and an activity gets raised to it. And what by that, again, right here, we have an activity and we're saying run against this turn context, right? So a message came in. So somebody finished their turn essentially and said, handed it over to the bot, and now it's the bot's turn, and they have this concept of a context, which will hold basically all the information about the conversation that they're having with whatever it is on the other end that we receive this activity from, which is us, the chat, right? So that's what the context is about. So that gets passed into the run, and then at some point, the run and the processing that the bot does via this activity handler inherited functions is it's going to realize that it's a message that we received. So that's where this on message comes into play. And so that function will get called, and that's where we can write our custom code to handle that. And this is where I'm saying, okay, let's use this Lewis helper, very similar to what we were doing in the previous version here, right? Where a message comes into this route, a dialogue here with the intent, and then pass that along to the intent. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pass it along to the Lewis helper to say, hey, Lewis, execute a query using the context of this whole message and conversation we're having with somebody. So let's step into that. And here, this is just taking pretty much the boilerplate code that they, besides a few things that I'm adding that I pulled over from the existing Lightbot code that's running right now against the stream, and plugging that into here. So we can disregard that for now because that's where I'm like left off. I'm trying to get the LIFX integration working through this. But then const Lewis application. So you basically tell it about the application ID, the Lewis all the stuff to connect to the Lewis service up in Azure. That's all our configuration there. Any options that we want to do, like include all intents true. If we want to log, is it staging? No, we're going to just go straight to production of Lewis, the AI, the trained AI. And then we create a recognizer. Again, remember right here, we're creating a recognizer. But this, in that case, we were just passing in a URL. You can actually still do that here with this. So instead of passing in this JSON object like that, you can just pass in a string that's the URL if you want. But I'm following the same pattern that the documentation was showing. So that creates a new recognizer. And then we're going to say, hey, recognizer, you better recognize what's going on in this context. Now, this right here is where I was actually banging my head against the wall for several hours yesterday. I don't know why, but I had another bot that I had spun up to like test with. I think it's actually up in the portal right now. I think it's this BC test bot. Is that it? I think so. No, because that's a functions bot. There was another test bot. Anyway, I created a separate test bot and downloaded the source code. And I used a different template. Let me back up actually even more. Okay, this is kind of, let's clarify the flow of things that we need to talk about in the talk here. I feel like I'm just rambling and going all over the place. I'm sorry, folks. Let's create a new file. Say save it as talk outline. And I'm not gonna save it in the bots folder. I just want to save it here. Save it here. Okay. So the way I'm thinking about breaking down the talk is titled Lights, Camera, AI. So it's a play on Lights, Camera, Action, which was why I think it got accepted into TwitchCon last year. Building or something like this. Building interactive chat bots on Twitch, I think is how I wrote it out, or something like that. I guess we can go look. Let me show you. I do want to double check that actually. Anglebrackets.org. If we go sessions, speaker name Clark. Hey, look, it's me. Lights, Camera, AI, interactive chatbots is what I called it. I dropped the Twitch part. And then the description is smart lights, AI. Look at such a cheeky description, right? Smart lights, AI, and you. Sounds like fun. Come learn how to train AI to understand commands and use the results to control lights and web interfaces. We'll tie everything together with a serverless app. Oh man, that's not good. Shoot. It's not a serverless application anymore. In Azure, and an open chat channel using JavaScript. That open chat channel is you, Twitch chat. That's you right there. You're in the talk, Twitch. You're in the talk, chat. I know. I can just. Well, I got to get it removed somehow from their website. With the application in Azure. Just get rid of serverless. It was serverless in version 3. You'll leave with ideas on leveraging these tools for your own creative solutions. Yes. So that's the kind of idea of it. I think part of what I want my message to be is like, hey, check out people that are coding on Twitch. It's super awesome. You're going to learn stuff. Except on this channel. Because it's me. And I'm a knucklehead. Okay, so what else? Thank you for that fart, JT. Let's catch up on chat quick. Why isn't chat scrolling? Okay, what'd I miss? What'd I miss? Syrian says, I like the idea of TypeScript, but whenever I read that already. William Coe says, this is one of the things I like about WebStorm/JetBrains IDE. You can't create files without saving them somewhere. I don't know that I like that. Sometimes I just want a temporary file. So I think I disagree with you on that. I mean, I have nothing against WebStorm/JetBrains IDEs, but that's in terms of that feature, that's my feeling. Landon says, well, I got a meeting in a bit. I'm going to head out. Have a good day, everyone. All right, thank you for being here, Landon. Thank you again for the continued sub, and have a good rest of your day, man. JT says, why isn't your face on the Angle Brackets homepage? I'm not important. I don't know that I don't want my face on the homepage. My name, look at, these are all amazing people. My name should not be on the homepage alongside those people. That's my answer to that, JT. So yeah. Electric Havoc says, just remove serverless. Yes, I read that. Chair is an amazing educator. Chair definitely is Electric Havoc. I will give you that. Props to Chair. William says that fart was perfect timing. Mike Joe says, don't you put that responsibility on us. I make no claims to teaching anything. Seropian says, Clarkio, what's the criteria for joining the Live Coders stream team? I'm a Twitch affiliate, and now that my Hackintosh is done, I'll be hopefully back on a consistent schedule. Oh, well, that's awesome for one. For two, there isn't a whole lot. There's no strict criteria other than, I think the baseline thing that Fritz is the team leader. Jeff Fritz, that is, aka C# Fritz. So I would just ping him on. So anyway, let me back up. He's running the show with that in terms of adding people and vetting people out, along with, like, he kind of shares it with the rest of the Live Coders team to be like, hey, if you have any suggestions on people, or if you want to take some time to check out somebody that we're considering to add to the team, feel free to do so. So he does that kind of stuff in our Discord server. But in any case, the baseline thing that he's looking for is, let's see if I remember correctly. You got to be affiliate, which you got that already, because being affiliate helps. It's kind of like Twitch's baseline to say you're kind of committed to streaming on Twitch, right? So that's kind of what we're looking for, is you're committed to consistently producing and doing coding on Twitch as a streamer.
This just became a job.
Thank you, Jay Felly, for the subscription, and Ace Flameseer. Thank you so much. Welcome. Happy to have you on the team. Oh, this is because Electric Havoc is gifting 5 tier 1 subs to the community. Electric Havoc, my man. Dude.
Just became a job.
That is super generous of you. Thank you. Holy cow. Well, welcome, everybody.
This just became a job.
So welcome to Jay Felly, Shoe Eater, awesome name. IBSSI, Homeless Waffle, Ace Flameseer. Thank you, Electric Havoc. Dude, that's super kind. And Nala, thank you for the 1 bit. Good to see you again. Happy to have you here. So you need to be affiliate. The other thing is that, like, you just kind of have to have like a positive mentality and be educational focused kind of stream what you're doing. Like, to give you an idea though, that doesn't mean you can't stream other things. So like on Monday nights, I stream about gaming. Like I play video games with friends of mine, and that's what I do on this channel. But my main thing that I do is this type of stuff, live coding. So I mean, as long as you kind of hit those things, you're likely to make it in. And so just hit up Jeff, send him a DM on Twitter or something, and or in his streams Discord, and get the ball rolling that way. Pat says you learn stuff on this channel. Chair does some great teaching, and you learn things like, don't you try that with me, Pat. I almost said it actually. JT says I'd pay good money to see a session by Clarky2 Chair. Thank you, Hugo, for the shout out to C# Fritz. I guess I'll do it since that didn't quite go through. C# Fritz. There you go. Sirius is perfect. Thanks for the info. Yeah, no problem. Michael Jones says the requirements and steps to join are listed in that repo. Oh, thank you right there. Let me copy that. GitHub.com/livecoders home. There you go. Bam. I should have just read that. Thank you. Read the chat, Brian. Get good, Brian. Twitch affiliate or partner status during broadcasts. Politely answer questions from viewers. Promote a positive, inclusive, and welcoming chat room. Are a person, not a brand or company account. Brian. Thank you for that. Get good. Regularly write code or make hardware with technology. Other content is cool. See? Boom. I mean, I essentially said that. But there you go. It's written out. Qualifications. Bada bing, bada boom. Done. Now it says, oh, that 1 bit was, I want to be on that leaderboard. Golf clap, anyone? There you go. You're on the leaderboard. Thank you, Nala, for being on the leaderboard. Electric Havoc says, the only way I could stop your pontification. Thank you, Electric Havoc. Robert Taylor says, affiliate, regular schedule, live coding content, other important qualifications, be a positive member of the Twitch dev community. Bam, done. Cold Knox, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Happy to have you here. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask them in chat, because no question is a stupid question here. We're a very warm and welcoming community. Otherwise, sit back, relax, and let's learn together. Hugo says, I probably don't have channel privileges to do a shout out, which is why I didn't go through it. Yeah, sorry about that. Let's just a long road to affiliate as a coder with twin baby. Oh, dude, twin babies. My wife and I can barely handle 1 baby that's almost 2. I love the farts. Excuse me. Michael Jones says that was a warm and welcoming fart. There you go. Okay, where were we? We were talking about the outline. So what I was thinking about doing with this talk is there's various ways I can structure it. I was thinking about breaking it down to be like, hey, it is about lights, camera, AI. Let's talk about the lights. Let's talk about the lights, right? And then in here we'd be like, okay, internet connected lights nowadays, but typically controlled by an app or voice. But why not through like text/chat and AI, right? This would kind of go into talking about LIFX, Philips Hue, I think it's 1L, others, right, etc. to make sure we're all in this like level set, because there might be some people that, I don't know, maybe there's people that don't know about internet connected light bulbs, right? So that's kind of what we need to do there to get people set up. Camera, I think I want to save that to be like the last part. Let's talk about cameras. No. Oh man, my voice is hurting me. My throat is hurting me and my voice is going to get hoarse very soon. Hugo says, are you bringing the light with you for a live demo? No, I think what I want to do is there's... Thank you for that, Pat. No, during cough, it's by choice. Electric Cavity says, twin effort, 1 + 1 equals not 2. 2 factorial? Is that what you're saying? Nala says, is the mic on-off noise by choice? Yeah, it's not by choice. It's a new thing. I mean, I'm muting myself by choice, so you don't have to hear me cough in your ear. However, Stream Deck added the little extra sound effect, and I don't know. I haven't looked into figuring out how to turn it off or not. So sorry about that little beep. But now you know when I go on mute and when I'm not on mute. And this, in case I forget to go off mute, you can tell me. Okay. Michael Josh says, can we change lights camera AI to lights camera Skynet? We could. So basically what I mean, like, talk about the cameras, live streaming, right? What is it about? Why would someone watch? Maybe why would someone host? Right? Maybe I talk about that in there. But it'd be a very brief section of the talk. And then last but not least, it would be the AI part. Lewis is the AI. Azure Bot Framework version 4 is the controller / logic. And Twitch chat is the client. Right? And that's it as a whole. That's what I think the talk is about. And I actually feel way more better writing that out. What do you all think about that? Like, if you were to go to a talk, is that something that would be... Maybe, whether you're interested or not, if you went to a talk and you heard about all that kind of stuff, I'm assuming I go into more details, right, and I have all the slides and whatnot, would you find that to be helpful, informational, educational? What are your thoughts, chat? Let me know. Provide some feedback. This is a talk about what we do here on stream, essentially, and the technology we use to do it. So your input is highly valued. Hugo says, you were about to say about not bringing the light. Yes. So you all let me know your thoughts on this while you're doing it. Do it.
Just do it. Yesterday you said
that's not helpful, Michael Jolly.
Do it. Make your dreams come true. Nothing is impossible. No, what are you waiting for? Do it. Just do it.
Thank you.
Yes, you can.
Thank you, Shia LaBeouf. I know I can, but I'm asking for feedback. Boki, there should be a Pikachu. Michael Justice, nothing is impossible. Yes, you can do it. All right, obviously I'm gonna do the talk. Hugo says, I think that's a good summary. I'd be interested. Okay, cool. Thank you, Hugo. Thank you, Hugo. Being a contributing member of the chat. Answering the question at hand. Instead of trolling me. Michael Jolly, the VIP, by the way. VIP status. Also fart. That's good. Hey, following up with something like that, that's cool.
Wow.
Pat says it seems fascinating. Wow. All right. Fair enough. Nice. Codeman says trolling Clarkio is an important part of Twitch. Trolling Clarkio. There we go. I added it to the talk. Thank you, Codeman, for the feedback. Michael just says, what? I'm a VIP? I didn't even notice. I feel like I gotta be on good behavior. Yeah, you should. Yeah. You're a very important person. Look at that. You have a diamond next to your name. Codeman says, anything I can do to be less helpful. Smart. Wow. Boki says, almost finished with closures. Nice. Can you show how it's done in JS? Curious. Closures? How it's done? I mean, my understanding is this right here, this function is a closure. This class is a closure, but I'm probably wrong. I know JavaScript, but I don't know JavaScript. But essentially, like, think about it this way. I mean, we could go look it up, but I don't want to get derailed too much. Maybe on another stream, Boki, if you want to remind me to do that. I want to focus on the talk or stuff related to the talk. Michael's Jolly says, no more fart and who cares for me? Oh, come on now. Hugo says, for number 2, link live coders. Yeah, I like it. Link livecoders.dev. Appreciate that. That's a good idea. Hugo, thank you. And also the community/pair programming aspect. That would go under probably both the reasons for both of these. Right? Reason, community / I mean, I have the reasons in my head. Actually, speaking of which, shameless plug time. Learn open at Microsoft. And oh no, where'd it go? Let's go to the blog post. Learning on Twitch. I wrote about it in a blog post on cloudblogs.microsoft.com. Here's the link if you're interested in reading it. I mean, you all get it already. I mean, you're pretty much here because you get that you already understand learning on Twitch and why somebody might do it. But shout out to
oh my God, who the hell cares?
Michael Joe says I read it. Good job, thank you, Michael Joe. I'm glad you liked it, and thank you for reading it, man. Shout out to lucky number 11 and fun function stream. Called those out to give examples of things that you might get with streaming and being a viewer, yada yada yada. So that's what that's about. So that's what essentially I'm going to take this stuff and plug that into this section. So it's not really, right? It's not let's talk about cameras. Let's talk about like putting on a live show and live streaming. Really that. Right? All right, JT, enjoy lunch. Nal says, oh my God, I know that lucky guy. The one from the Office Space? No. Oh my gosh, why is scrolling? Big hairy dude, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome, happy to have you here. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask them in chat because no question is a stupid question. We're a very warm and welcoming community here. Otherwise, sit back. If you want to lurk, that's cool too. Sit back, relax, and let's learn together. Oh, my throat's hurting. Oh, lucky number 7. Oh, I got you now. Pat says, does shameless plug equate to selling out? Ha 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 ha. You're funny. No, I'm not selling out. There's no dough. Come on. Boki, you can PR it. Add a PR to the TTV Chatlight repo in that link there. Michael Joe says, when you flush after dropping that that's oh my gosh, man. FOOCHY. Fuchi? Isn't a closure just a function that returns the scope? Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my understanding. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Thank you for responding with that, Fuchi, and welcome. Happy to have you here. Codeman Code says, in seriousness, I would watch that talk. Okay, cool. Thank you, Codeman. Appreciate the feedback. Hugo Dahl says, camera does not equal cameras. A callback is cameras. Cameras plus mic plus headphones plus green screen plus stream deck plus sound effects. Yes. Boki says, I'm lazy and also still not learned Git and GitHub, planning to do it on weekend. Okay. Do you think it can be done within 2 to 3 days? A PR? Yes, I'll show you really quick. Let's go through that. If you're not, like for a PR for the sound effects, you don't really need to, for that in particular, you don't really need to know Git. What you would end up doing is, well, I guess you kind of do. Do you have a GitHub account, Boki? Learning Git in GitHub. If you have a GitHub account, what you're going to want to do, and this goes for anybody that might not be familiar with this, please don't feel like bad that you don't know this. Like, it's okay. Like, people, there's plenty of people that are in the same boat that don't know GitHub, that don't know Git. So this is, and I'm very happy to share what I know about that, because that I'm like confident that I know and I can share something accurately. Whereas like closures, like I have an understanding of it, but I can't really explain it necessarily. Boki says only made an account, never used it. Okay, so when you sign into your account, you come to this repository, and what you can do is you can click in the top right hand corner. There's this button called fork. And if you hover over it, it gives you a little tooltip there. That's what that little white box is. You can kind of see above my head there. It's probably tiny for you to read, but it says fork your own copy of this repository to your account. So basically what it will do is it'll copy everything over under your account so that you have access and rights to make changes to it. Because if you unless I give you permission, which I don't generally give it to, like you'd have to be like working on a team, you know what I mean? And then you'd give somebody permission to make changes directly to your repository. So you fork it over to your repository, to your account rather. So you basically make a copy. You're duplicating this repository. And a repository is just a space in GitHub to hold your code, or in Git really. It's a Git thing. Get it good. So a repository is just a space to hold your code and the changes that you might commit to it over time. Okay, so this is my repository for the chatbot that does the sound effects. Jatin Patel, thank you so much for that follow. Welcome, happy to have you here. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. No question is a stupid question. Thank you again, and let's sit back, relax, and learn together. I'm messing that up big time. I'm off my game with it. Where was I? So this Twitch Lightbot is my repository that holds the source code that runs the chatbot and stuff, and the sound effects that you want to do. So what you do is you click fork, then it creates a copy. It'll take a few seconds, usually maybe a minute, depending on your internet connection or whatever, what have you. And then you'll have another copy of that. From there, you can actually just go straight to like the source folder. No, not this one. TTV chat light. Oops. Okay. You're going to go into the SRC folder. You're going to go into assets. You're going to go into sounds. And in here, you can just straight up upload the MP3 file, like the DO one that you want to add. You can do that directly through GitHub. That way you don't, like that will be your first step in doing it. I pressed the wrong button. That will be your first step in doing it. And then I think usually it'll show you a little notification that'll say, hey, do you want to create a pull request? In which case, then you click yes, and it should automatically choose to create a pull request against my repository, and you can go from there. So hopefully that kind of give you a little kickstart on what to do. I know it was like very maybe vague. I didn't go into a lot of detail on it, but you can do a lot of like what you're looking to do to create a PR for that sound effect can be done mostly through, actually all of it can be done through the GitHub website itself instead of having to do anything on your local machine with Git and GitHub. Okay. Robert Taylor says, for those asking about closures in JavaScript, I think this article is pretty accessible. Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing that, Robert Tables. Codeman Code says, every time I hear no question is a stupid question, I get the urge to figure out a really stupid question. But I'm not sure everyone would be honest in calling it a stupid question. I mean, you could try, but like what I mean by when I say no question is a stupid question, what I'm trying to get at is like, for instance, there might be a lot of devs that know about Git and GitHub already, right? And so what happens is if you're a newcomer to the developer space, though, you might feel like you might see that a lot of developers around you already know that, but you don't. And therefore, you might be hesitant to ask questions. So, by the way, props to you, Boki, for asking that question and bringing it up. And I hope part of the reason why you felt comfortable to do that is because of that little thing that I do and the kind of community and culture we built around this stream. But a lot of times, and I know I've felt this before, especially earlier on in my career, where I would hesitate to ask questions because I don't want to sound dumb or anything like that. So that's what I mean by like no question is a stupid question. A stupid question could be like, you know, I don't know. I don't know that I would. What I'm getting at is I'm not going to call anyone out saying that's a stupid question. Let's put it that way. Boki says, thanks. I enjoyed your explanation. Just give me link TTV chat/sounds. Sure. Right there. Bam. There's your link. Gonna try to send a PR on. Why is that flagged, Automod? You're gonna try and send a PR on the weekend? Okay. We'll try to check it out next. Well, next week next week I'll check it out. Pat says the stupid question is asking Clark how a toothbrush works. Well, you know, I might go into detail in explaining that. Hugo says also a good start for that on GitHub would be creating an issue. That way there's a sort of spec or issue to resolve. That's true. But I mean, I'm just trying to keep it simple, you know? Okay. Pat says, hey, Clarkio, how does a toothbrush work? Well, let me tell you. Well, do you want to know how a toothbrush is made? Or do you want to know how to use a toothbrush? What do you mean by how does a toothbrush work? And what type of toothbrush are you talking about? Tell me the answers to those questions, and then I'll be able to help answer your more direct question. Okay, says, can you show a PR someone send you to approve it? Just curious AF now. Sure, I'll show you a closed one. So this one comes from Sean, our buddy Sean. So you can see you create a title, and again, all this is done. Like if I wanted to, do I have any branches right now that I can show you? Like, why is GitHub acting so slow right now? Rama, hello. Hello to you, Rama. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Oh, do you see that? Because this button is green. Oh no, that's where the camera cuts off. I thought the green button was like green screen right there over my forehead. Only that, and I'll stop. Gotta go. Okay, Boki, no problem. So let's go to like, I don't know, cycle effect. And so if I come in here, I can click on this pull request. Like you'll have something different. Sometimes there will be a notification that'll say, do you want to create a pull request? But I can go like this. And then this is the interface. Like, don't worry about this. This is because of this current thing that it is in progress. I'm not really going to be doing a PR pull request over this. So you put in a title, and there's a template here that tells you like what to fill out if you'd like. But I mean, if you're just doing a sound, just put in the title, like adding these sounds, and then you can put that in here as well if you'd like, and that'll be sufficient. And then you say create pull request. That's the essence of creating a pull request through GitHub. But to show you the one like that Sean did, because you're essentially trying to add sounds as well. I guess I should have just clicked on that, because GitHub is being super slow right now. So when I look at it, so after you create a pull request, it's going to look like this. There's going to be these tabs at the top. Conversation, which is like the details about the pull request. It's going to show commits. Don't worry about that necessarily right now. You'll learn more about that as you learn more about Git. And I'm still waiting. It's probably, can you see that little blue bar all the way to the top? Yeah. Files change. So this shows you that like, this shows me as the reviewer, and even you as the creator of the PR, what files you're adding or what's changing as part of this pull request that you made. So in this case, I can see that Sean added to the sounds folder the gosh_language.mp3 file and the language.mp3 file. That's a pull request for you. Let's catch up on chat here. Hugo Dahl says, do you have an affiliate link for GetQuip? What is GetQuip? Is that a toothbrush?
This just became a job.
Yagnaro! I did see you actually resub off stream, but I'm glad you got the chance to send it through again. Yeah, noi. I think you meant boy. Typo. Thank you so much for the continued support. 3 months, part of the team. Shout out to Yegnaro. Hugo says, that's what we really want to know. Whatever your interpretation of my question. No, Pat. I'm sorry. I cannot answer that question without you further clarifying your question first. There you go. Michael Jaw says, look at them teeth. Does it look like he knows how to work a toothbrush? Wow, Michael Jolly. That is super kind of you. I don't think I've ever been complimented on my teeth before. Rama says, which one programming language will you never stop using your whole life? I don't know that... that is an interesting question, Rama. I don't know that there is one. I really like JavaScript, but something else might come along that might pique my interest, and I might step away. But right now, that feeling is at least JavaScript. Rama. Pat says, wow, I thought you were being nice, Michael Jolly. Oh, darn, I forgot. He was being nice. He's saying my teeth look very nice because I brushed them. Michael Jolly says, I tease in love. I wouldn't tease if I wasn't a fan. Yeah. Sure. You know that saying? There's always some truth to the joking around that people kind of do.
What's your profanity?
Right, I'm sorry.
Rama says, how can I get that dark mode in GitHub? Well, Dark Reader browser extension. I know it's hard to see because of that, but if you just look up, Google Dark Reader browser extension. And there you go, Rama. Yignar says, I did off stream, wanted to make sure I didn't drop off. I got you. Yeah. Hugo says, Quip, getquip.com. A toothbrush subscription that's been sponsoring a bunch of podcasts lately. Oh, really? I didn't know about that. That's interesting. Pat says, I really just want you to call it a dumb question. Nope. I'm just reading what you said. I'm not calling it a dumb question. Frank says, you never know what will happen. What is that in reference to? Sorry, I'm missing the context of that, Frank. But good to see you, buddy. Rama says, you will be billionaire soon using JavaScript. No, probably not. But I appreciate your vote of confidence for that. That I'll do well with JavaScript. Michael Jones says, the only dumb question is the one not asked. That's a good way to put it, man. All right, where were we? Writing up this outline. All right, so we're going to talk about the lights, internet-connected lights nowadays, LIFX, Philips Hue. Any other lights that I should mention, maybe? What are the lights? What other internet-connected lights are out there, folks? They're typically controlled by an app or a voice, but why not through text/chat and AI? Yes, like that's what we're getting at here. So we'll talk about that. And that's where I think we'll lead in. That's where I think I should do this. I think I should actually move this because I want to transition, right? We want to talk about the flow. No, we don't want to talk about the flow in the talk, but what I want to share with you all is like building out this talk. What should the flow be? And also keep in mind, I've done this talk before. This is what's kind of weird for me is like I'm taking a talk that wasn't very technical, and now I'm making it technical. But like thinking about the flow of things, right? So we're saying, hey, lights, camera, but we're not going to go in the order of this, I guess, which is it's going to bother my OCD and probably some other people that are OCD like me. Actually, this says it in the right order. Look, smart lights, AI, and you. This is just a play on lights, camera, action. So I think people will get past that, right? Okay, so flow of it. Talk about lights, yada yada. Oh, well, lights are cool and all, but typically they're controlled by apps or through voice, like things like the Amazon device or Google Home, yada yada yada. The talk is a week from today, Frank. This one, actually, angle brackets. I think the week from today one is the node debugging one I have. Where's the schedule? I know one is Wednesday and one is Thursday. This is Thursday. So this talk is next Thursday at 10 a.m. The other one is Wednesday, right here. Debugging node at 3:30. So, and I'm not worried about this one. I'm worried about this one. That's Thursdays. So that's what we're working on today. Amazon has some lights, Hugo? Oh, yeah? Frank said you never know what will happen about languages in the future. Oh, yeah. You're right. Exactly. You don't know what will happen when it comes to languages. So that's why I don't know that I could definitively say there's one programming language that I will stick with for the lifetime of my existence. Michael just says, I'm never giving up on punch cards. They're going to make a comeback. William says, lights controlled through Home Assistant? Home Assistant as in the thing that, like homeassistant.io? Is that what you mean? Rama says, man, that extension is heaven. Didn't know such a thing existed. Yeah. Ignore says, cheap Walmart lights do not have the API integration developers can use, but they do have apps that control them. Okay, so let's talk about, yeah. I mean, that's kind of what we're getting at, right? Is other, I was just wondering if there's other big brands. Oh, there's the Nano Leaf one, right? Nano Leaf? Nano Leafs? Leaves? Leaves? Leafs? Michael Johnson says, lights, camera, fart. Line 2. Are you streaming your sessions? Asked Pat. Maybe. Remote streams are tough, man. And like I already get stressed out from, we talked about this earlier on the stream. I already get stressed out preparing for the talk. I don't want to like, and trying to do a remote stream will stress me out more. Like if I were to do this talk live on the stream from home, poof. I mean, I'd do it right now. I'd feel super comfortable doing that. But in front of a live audience in person, in IRL, in real life, and then live stream that, where I'm controlling it. If the conference was going to do it, then I'd be like, you know, no problem, no sweat off my back, right? Frank says, I'm on my way to Montreal to give a talk. Nice, chilling in the train, LOL. That's cool, man. Pat says, is Philips the Hue bulbs? Yes. Philips Hue. Okay. So in here, I don't know. So here's the other thing. I don't know that I really want to talk about difference between version 3 and version 4. Probably not. No one's going to care. Most of the people in the audience they're coming to this talk because it's new to them maybe, and they want to learn about it, right? So they're not going to care about the difference between the two. So what I want to talk about in here is creating let's think about the steps it takes. Let's go into a little bit more detail here, right? So the Azure Bot Framework version 4 is the controller, so we got to talk about creating that. So we create web app bot in the portal. And I forget. From there, is that where I tie in Lewis? This is where we're going to say create an app in Lewis.ai. Why does it keep doing that? Enter. What are intents and entities? Because those are the main things we're going to focus on as part of the talk, because that's all we're using in here. And utterances and training the bot, training the AI rather. That's what we're going to do with that part. In here, Azure Bot Framework version 4, creating the web app in the portal. At one point we download source code. Analysis, Clark, I'd recommend turning autocomplete off for text.md files. Ooh, can we do that? Suggestions, I think it is, right? Do you know what the exact setting is, Nala? I appreciate that feedback. That's a good idea. Controls whether it should automatically show up while typing. Wait, what was that called? Quick suggestions. think I have it in here. Quick suggestions. How do you do just like, oh, plain text right here. This is where I want to copy this, comma, that, and I want to say Control D and change those all to false, I think. Yay! Thank you, Nala. Boki says, thanks, man. Had to jump quickly to gents. Is there an option to disable forking to leave my repositories or whole profile private? You have to create a private profile then. So when you go into Git, let's do that really quick, Boki, to answer your question. You go into github.com straight up, you're signed in. Nalus is proud of being and you click on this little, can you see it? Yeah, you can see it. There's a plus sign like above my head up here. Click on that, you say new repository. You give it a name and you choose private, which are all free now, ever since Microsoft acquired GitHub, by the way. That you used to have to pay for private repositories, now you don't. So if you choose it to be private, then nobody's going to be able to fork it. I think there might be another setting too, actually. That's a good question. I wonder if I go to, let's go to like this one. And I go into settings. Is there a way to lock it down so people can't fork the repo? I don't think so. Danger zone. Make this repository private. So if you have a public one already, you can make it private, like clicking on that if you want. I don't know if you can do that. Add that VS Code setting to stream notes? Yes. Let's do that. Good call, Hugo. Thank you for calling that out, man. Should we go under things we learned? Yeah. Let's say follow. It's Nala J. VS Code setting to turn off suggestions for .txt files and or markdown if you'd like. And the code for that is going to be the following. Where is it? Here. Copy this. Get rid of that. JSON. There we go. Thank you, Nala. You're in the stream notes now. There's no point in a web fork prevention because people can always get cloned. Yeah, so I think that's why you need to make it private. Is probably your best bet to hide your code from people. Boki says, nice. I just wanted to ask about the make the private button. And last about GitHub. Is there a limit in storage? No, not that I'm aware of. Anybody know if there's a limit in storage? Has anybody ever hit a limit in storage on a repository? Yagnaro says, I love that they made private free. Always means to keep my testing repo hidden for references later without being highlighted. Yeah, there you go. That's good. Pat says, that's fair. Didn't know if angle brackets would let you even stream it. I don't know. Yeah, they might not. Although, I think Fritz, yeah, Fritz was on the main page, right? Fritz is going to be there. Jeff Fritz, that is. Yes, and I imagine he's going to be streaming. Let's look it up. Look it up. Fritz. .NET Core templates, introducing .NET Core. I guess he's not. I thought he's doing some stuff where he's streaming from the conference. I'm sure he will be. Just maybe not in those sessions. Okay, so we got suggestions off. I like it. Love it. Want some more of it. Pepe, I read that already. Robert Taylor says, there is not really a limit. That said, there is a practical limit in terms of slowness to clone, especially in build systems. Shallow clones can help a little, but still. That's a good point, yep. So yeah, if you have a really large repository with a bunch of files and folders in it, that will affect how quickly you can clone, fork, and that kind of stuff. Essentially, try not to check in a whole bunch of large binary stuff, says Robert Tables. Yep. Good advice. Good advice. All right. So in terms of writing up this outline again, utterances and training the AI, I think that's all I wrote. And then publish trainings. That's the big thing that I always tend to forget, because I'll train it, but then you got to like do a release. Because what'll happen is you'll go, and in fact, I'll show you. Let's go take a look at it. Let's go into Lewis AI. So this one is what that like the template that gets generated for you as part of Azure Bot Service will do. It'll say, hey, book a flight. Book a flight has an intent. So when a message comes in, Lewis AI is trained to understand if the message is intended to try and book a flight as part of like the boilerplate that they generate for you, right? And so in here, what has happened, it was trained against all these example utterances. I want to travel to this airport. What is airport? It's an entity, which is a list. I want to fly from airport to airport on this date. Date is an entity. It's pre-built though. So there's some pre-built ones. Actually, I should mention that. Entities. So intents are the interpreted actions that the AI believes the end user / client wants to do / execute, right? That's what intents are. Within here, let's cut this out actually. This is really helpful, like talking it out loud with you all, by the way. If you have any questions about this stuff, if there's something that's like, this is what I'm looking for help from you all, if you can. Otherwise, just listening and being here is still super supportive. But if there's anything in here where you're like, I don't understand that. What do you mean by that? That's going to make it super helpful, because that's probably what somebody in the audience might be thinking if they're part of this talk and I don't cover that particular topic. So if that comes to mind as you're listening into the stream, as you're watching it right now, please, please, please let me know in the chat, and then that way I can see if it's something I tie in here somewhere. So utterances are the various ways of saying things in human language around a specific intent, right? So in this, like, let's talk about in this exact example here, the intent here is to book a flight, right? And the way I might say that to the bot is I want to travel to, I don't know, New York. I want to travel to New York. And so it will pick up that part of that utterance that I just said, the thing I said, that's what I uttered out of my mouth hole, is I want to travel to New York. So out of that, it picks up that I said travel to, and then it's going to know that New York is an airport, or it's going to figure that out based on this list of entities. And so it's been trained on all the different ways of saying things with the intent to book a flight, right? That's what that is. Book me a flight, right? You might explicitly say, I want to book a flight. Or you might say, I want to go to, you know? So that's kind of what's going on here. It's training the AI to understand what the intent is around booking a flight. Now, entities, though, is different. Entities, if we look at the airport one, it is of type list. Entity type is list. And it's been trained to know the different, and this is where you keep adding to it. So we could say, like, I don't know, what's another, Los Angeles, right? That's another one. And I can say Los Angeles, LA. Those are the other ways you can say it, right? That's what these synonyms are that will translate back to the normalized value, which is, you know, proper capitalization on a pronoun, right? A city name. So that's what's going on there. So that's what entities are about. We can create list types. We can create other ones that are like, this is a pre-built one. So I want to talk about that. Intents. So the intents are going to be about utterances. But then there's also going to be entities. Which are the key pieces of information within an utterance, basically. That's the way I think I would describe it, right? All right, let's catch up on chat. Let's pause there for a moment. Electric Ev says, oh, where are we? Or your lead may have to rewrite history and you all need to reclone. Oh, that was in reference to the other stuff. Hugo does says large binary files which are auto-restored, NuGet packages, node modules, Bower. Yeah, those are all not good to have in GitHub. SourceScoot says you can use git LFD for the large stuff. Oh, LFS. Okay, interesting. Thank you for sharing that, SourceScoot. Also, by the way, I enjoyed tuning into your stream the other day, and I like that you had the you have lights connected in as part. And I really like that you had. And this would be good for me to include in my Monday night streams. The beer command to know what kind of beer you're drinking. Because I love craft beer and trying new beers and getting a taste for them and all that kind of stuff. Boki says up to 2 gigabytes for LFS. Okay, interesting. Ternary Bash says, how is this input coming in, voice or text? So the way this is being set up right now, Ternary, that's a good question. Thank you for asking that. It's voice. Well, it's text. Sorry, it's not voice. So what I'm going to be explaining at the beginning of the talk is like it's very typical. Whenever we think of internet connected lights, if you're already familiar with it, or maybe you're just getting familiar with internet connected lights, it's very like the norm with those is like you control them either through an app by pressing buttons or through voice with like an Amazon device, Google Home, and other home like assistant type things that you can speak to, right? Which will then take your utterance that way and then interpret it to the AI more, right? But let's do this through text chat is kind of where we're going to lead into. And then that steps me right into perfectly transition into the AI portion of the talk where we talk about what the service that I'm using to accomplish the AI stuff, which is LIFX, Microsoft's language understanding and interpretation service. I believe I got to double check. What does LIFX stand for? What does LIFX stand for in Azure? They just say language understanding, but what is...
Wow.
They don't really say what the... It's like an acronym, right? Language understanding.
Wow.
Wow. What's up, Pranav? SourceScoot says, thank you. Yeah, no problem, man. I like it. Keep doing your thing. Keep it up. Keep it up with that stream. It doesn't say anywhere. Interesting. Okay. Hugo says, language understanding IB smarts is what it stands for. Yeah. Obsidian, hey, good to see you, says, in this case, will the AI know that New York has more than one airport, or does the user have to be specific? Well, I think that's where over time you train. You bring up a very good point, and it's a matter of training the AI. Well, I think what's actually happening here is it's like this is step one. The way they have this workflow kind of set up is it figures out what city you want to go to, and then the next step would be you'd have another separate entity that says like this should actually, instead of being airports, it probably should be cities, and then there should be another one that says like airports, and that can be like there's probably a pre-built one. Is there a pre-built one? No, there should be. Like, there's an existing data set of airports already, right? So, and we can train the AI on that. That's where I would go with it, if I were to take it a step further, like you're suggesting. But in this case, they're kind of keeping it simple and saying just cities right now, and not really the airports. This should change. They should change that from airport to city. That's good feedback. In fact, let's write that in the notes. My notes here. Thank you for that feedback. Let me add that to my stream notes, actually, since you should get credit for that. They usually have like a suggestions, right? Or where's my template? Things to review and notes. Other topics discussed / covered. No, this is still related to that, so we're gonna add this part. I think after segments. Yeah. And I'll do follow. And that was Obsidian Talon. And what was the question again originally? I want to kind of give you... Oh my gosh, the scroll is not working in the chat view in OBS. Raised a question around if the AI will know that New York has more than one airport. This led to the idea / feedback to change the examples in docs and in code to set the entity to be city instead of airport. Okay, so that's feedback I could share with the teams internally. Thank you again, Obsidian Talon, for that. Hugo says you could also include the airport codes in the cities, like LAX for Los Angeles. Oh yeah, that's a good point. That's another way to do it. Maybe that's where they're thinking about going with it, right? So the alias, the synonyms. But then I would have to change this one. How do I edit an entity? I can only delete it. So I could set this one to be like JFK, right? And not LaGuardia, that airport in New York. Yeah. New York could have both JFK and LGA. Yeah, but like the whole thing is like you want to book a flight to one, you might have a preference one over the other, right? I know LaGuardia is LGA like that, but it's an interesting topic, but that's something that I'm not going to go into probably in detail on the talk. I don't know. I would have to like, I'm not, let me back up and preface this here. Like, this is me just kind of tinkering, learning about AI. And that's what I'm hoping to get is like, the point I'm trying to make there is that I'm not an expert in this, right? I would lean on somebody that's like either part of the product team that built Lewis and ask them like how they might approach training it, or I would go and read some more about the documentation on best practices to do that kind of thing. But the idea here is like, I just want to, like, let's think about what the main goal is of the talk. The main goal is to, I don't know. The value I got out of doing this is I thought it's really fun and interesting and how simple it is to kind of get started without really knowing a whole lot about this stuff. So the goal is to kind of showcase that we were able to do that, to create a fun and interesting type of thing with these tools that was fairly simple and straightforward. Now, I know I've talked earlier in the stream today about switching from version 3 of the bot framework to version 4. It was kind of confusing and felt convoluted a little bit. But that's a whole separate topic. And what I've done, at least, and I've learned is I got it to a point where I can distill it down to where it still feels simple to at least accomplish this thing that people can then take it a step further and apply it to whatever they might want to do, or learn about the other aspects and features that are available with this whole thing. So that's kind of where I think I'm going, or I believe the talk is intended to do, right? Pat says, Lurk, got to make a call to the State Department of Revenue. Wish me, oh my gosh, good luck. That does not sound like fun. So that's what entities are about. We're going through this outline still again, right? Create an app in Lewis AI. What are intents and entities? Intents are the interpreted actions that the AI believes the end user / client wants to do or execute. Utterances are the various ways of saying things in human language around a specific intent. And entities are the key pieces of information within an utterance that differentiates utterances and specifies intent more, right? So you could be like, I want to book a flight, but what do you specifically want to do? The entities help us figure that out more. Okay. And then these have types, entity types, and those are, there's a bunch of them, but there's just like, let's go back to entities here. Create a new entity. There's simple, hierarchical, composite, list. Just want to talk about entity types basically. Custom. Pre-built entity types. And domain entity. I don't know what that means. Pre-built domain entities are parts of pre-built domains. We recommend using entities from the same domain when possible since they work better together. Like calendar related stuff. Hey, it's the ghost of Clarkio again. Thank you, Pranav, for doing that. Hugo says that's a good point, that for a quick get going without all the nuances, this is great. Yeah, that's kind of what, yeah, that's what I think I'm going for here. And a big reason or part of the reason why that's the case is because I don't feel like I don't know everything. I don't know this in depth, especially the AI part of it. The AI part of it, I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants and learning as I go. And I got it to a point where it's working, you know? And so that's sufficient for me. But for somebody else, they might want to take it a step further, which means they need to learn more about that, right? In any case, this is the very tip of the iceberg is what I'm getting at here of what you can do with the AI, with the language understanding AI, that is. Okay. Back to the outline. I think that might be everything I want to talk about with that. Then we're going to have train it. Then we're going to demo, enter utterances. We're going to do a demo, I think. The first thing we'll do is enter utterances, train, test, and then publish. Which I guess I got right here. Training the AI. Put that in this section. That'll be a demo. There we go. Actually, after, what do I want to do? So after publishing, the thing that you want to do, capture Lewis app ID and key to use in the bot, right? So that's what that's going to be about. So I could see, wow, that's going to, so now that I'm fleshing this out and talking this out loud with you all, I can see this section being kind of long, maybe. But it's an hour-long session, so I guess this will work out. And the Azure Bot Framework, let's talk about what do we want to do there. This might be, so this is going to be 2A. And this is going to be bots. And bots. All right. So that's 2A. And then this will be 2B. We're just talking about Azure Bot Framework as the controller. Pranav says, what the main aim? What's the main aim? I kind of just answered that, didn't I? Do you need me to explain again the main aim of the talk? This is it up here. This is the title. Lights, Camera, AI, Building Interactive Chatbots. Okay, let's talk about this a little bit more. Whoops. I want to break these sections out to see a little bit better. 2 and 3. Thank you, Yanni, for changing it to blue. All right, so Azure Bot Framework. What do I want to talk about with this? All right, creating a web app bot in the portal. Download the source code. Update it to connect to our AI. Lewis AI. Test locally. So for that, we're going to need bot framework emulator, right? Run in VS Code in debug mode, and then send messages in the emulator chat interface. And then I don't think I'm going to go into details on this in here. I could potentially go into push/publish. Maybe add that section. I don't know if we don't have time. I don't think it necessarily matters, because what you could do, like, well, that might be simple enough. If we do that, if we do go that route, then say connect via GitHub, right? And then that way, when I push to a certain branch, it will just Azure App Service will automatically pull that latest bot code into it and run it out in Azure. And then section 3, and I think this is where talk about this, and then I tie it back into and do strike through on that. And markdown, that's how you do strike through. Double tildes. Do I have a markdown file I can show you that in? So let's look at the rendering of this. So let's say let's put demonstrate. Let's put this on the side, and then the rendering over here, and then Control B. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do that. There we go. So we want demonstrate to be strike through. Do tilde. Look at that. Oh, it even renders it in here. That must be my extension I'm using. There you go. Learn something new. Michael Jolly, speaking of learning stuff new, did you end up creating snippets from last stream? If you're still there, buddy. What sound you are using? What do you mean? Music? Pranav? If you're talking about the music, it's a playlist on Spotify called Twitch and Chill. All right, let's talk about the cameras in here. I'm gonna do that, but then at this point is where I would say Twitch chat as the bot framework client, and then send messages received in chat to the AI, to the bot, and then let it do its thing. Oh, I think I need to talk about test locally, update it to connect to our Lewis AI, update it to connect to LIFX API. I think we should probably, so this would be a demo part. Test that first locally. And then we'll do another. I mean, this is all demo, right? Actually, maybe I have the code already done for this. Have the code completed already. right? Because I don't want to be writing code necessarily. Or I could create snippets, right? Yes, Twitch end chill like this. Twitch with the end symbol. Put it in chat. Have the code completed already. Use snippets to generate the code and then talk through it. Maybe I do that. I might do that instead. Because really what I don't want to necessarily bog people down with the code. The code is not necessarily as important. Talk through the project structure, files and folders. What do they mean / do? Okay. And then last but not least, we tie it all together by having the Twitch chat. I'll bring up the Twitch chat live during the talk and send a message through there. Oh, this goes back to what Hugo was asking about, right? I believe LIFX bulb emulator. So way LIFX virtual bulb. I don't know what this does, so hold on a second. Download the app. I do have the LIFX app. Before logging in, select try virtual light. You'll need to make sure your device is connected the same way. Play. The LIFX app is packed with amazing colors. Where's the virtual light here? Am I doing something that's blocking it? Let's open up Firefox. Yeah, there it is. That's why. All right. Bring you all back. So this is what I was thinking about doing, Hugo. Is maybe using this. How do I connect to this virtual light and tell it to... Is it on my phone already? LIFX app. No. Where's the virtual one? I think I have to like be completely new user of the app. Dang it, maybe that's not the way to go about it. Maybe I just show a video of it. That's the other thing I'm gonna I'll probably show a clip like I did in my TwitchCon talk. I think I'll show a clip. And the clip I have is when I first got it working on stream, which was fun. It was very exciting. But the other thing I was thinking about doing was having like a virtual demonstration. I thought I could use this. Get it from Microsoft. All right, so I'm in the Microsoft Store. It's downloading, acquiring a license, downloading LIFX. Okay, I can launch it now. Pranav says, so their change in live stream schedule? Yes, next Wednesday stream will be canceled. Unless I live stream directly from the talk. But Friday stream will be on like normal, and Monday night game stream will be on like normal. So I have the LIFX app here. Maybe I need to log into my account, but then if I log into my account, it'll pick up all my lights again, which is what the app is doing. I don't know if this is what I want to do. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I'll have to explore this more. Oopsie daisy. Virtual LIFX bulb. I gotta figure out if that's what I'm gonna do. William says create a new account. Yeah, maybe I should do that. Hold on. Un momento, por favor. Where'd it go? Oh. It picked up all the lights on my network already. I'm so annoyed right now. I thought I could use this virtual bulb. Oh, wait. Oh my gosh. You click on any little thing and it opens up a link. Connect. Before logging in, select try virtual light. You'll need to make sure your device is connected to the same Wi-Fi network. Oh, I see. I think I see. I think I need the app actually. Maybe if I do it on this other phone I have here. This is an old phone. What is this one? iPhone S. I don't think I have LIFX. Oh, I do have the LIFX bulb on here. If I log out of this one. Log out. Ah, yes. Okay, I got it. So I logged out on this one. And you'll see if it ever focuses. You see it says try virtual light at the bottom? So this is what I'll do. There we go. I got it. Let's go into the Firefox one. One or more installed add-ons can... I don't care about that. So I go like this. Oh. Robert Taylor says, Internet of Things that don't work when AWS is down. Or GCP recently, as it turns out. Oh, no. Now it says IoT devices. It just works. William says, or mock it out with just a picture of a bulb on a web page. Though this seems like more work. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to like just leverage what's already existing, you know, and not have to go that route where I create my own virtual bulb. This saying, it says it's connected. I think the dark mode is throwing this one off. There we go. Oh yeah, it is working. So I'm changing it on here. See? So how does it do that though? I wonder, can I do that using the AI and everything? Like, how does it connect to the virtual one? How does their app? I need to like inspect their app and figure out, hey, what's up, Klein? Good to see you. How are things going by you? Robert Tails is network inspector. It's probably a WebSocket in reality. You think so? Let's see. Let's go to network. Preserve log maybe.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, if I change it. Sources. Color. Main. Alright, time to read the source code of the web page. Class bulb. Connect button. Bulb set pop-up visibility true. Okay, so we want to... Hey, I guess I could copy this code too, right? Oh, initialize WebSocket. Robert Tables, spot on, brother. If this WebSocket... WebSocket on message. What is the event? Haha! All right, so what is the WebSocket though? Initialize this dot initialize WebSocket. Okay, cool. We're hacking, folks. We're hacking on this. Robert says we're doing it live. Yes. Regards from Mexico, says Ricardo. Nice content. Thank you, Ricardo. Happy to have you here. Welcome from Mexico. It's so cool to hear where people are watching from. Thank you for sharing that, Ricardo. How are things going by you? How's your week been? Hack the Gibson, says William. Klein says, I don't understand companies sometimes. Microsoft is making Xbox body wash? Really? I don't understand that either. And I work here. Klein says, great. Got ice cream and the weather is on its A game. That's awesome, dude. I'm glad you're enjoying and having a good day. Null says, look who's late. Nah. We're just getting into the hacking right now. Klein says, don't ask me. All right, let's click on this. The Verge. Microsoft is making Xbox body wash. Why? Does it have a certain scent to it or something? It's exclusive to Australia. Oh, it's Axe. Come on, it's Axe. They probably like hit up Xbox and are like, hey, can we make a body wash that's branded Xbox for kids? All right, where's this initialize? Oh, it's right here. So how do I connect to it? It's just window.location host / that. So you have to be on the same network though. So here's the interesting part about all this. Source Scoots, it smells like playing for 24 hours straight. Pranav says Apple Mac trash can again. Oh, you're talking about the updates from WW or whatever happened. Klein says it already kind of looks like Mountain Dew. Yeah. Robert Taylor says, Ma, the spaghetti. William says, smell like Doritos and Mountain Dew. Klein says, and they didn't call it Axbox. That's the worst part. They probably should have called it that. Spot on, man. So here's what I'm thinking. What I would need to do to demo it this way without having the physical light. I have to rewrite the code a bit to like be like, hey, am I in debug mode or am I in production mode, right? So there's Lewis helper. And basically, if I'm in debug mode, meaning or local testing mode, right? I'm running it on this local machine, then I can do that while I'm presenting. Then I can go, let's close that up. Then I can go and say, and do what this is doing. I can connect to the socket. The weird thing is, so they're saying I have to be on the same network. But the weird thing is, they're setting up a WebSocket using window.location. Let's refresh the page. So that's the domain. That's out on the web, right? So I should technically be able to connect to that from anywhere, not necessarily on the same network. Am I right, folks? What do you think? Robert Taylor says, hang on, Clarkio. Unless there's some type of initialize WebSocket. Is there any what's up, Doc? Oh, you saw Bauer? Robert Taylor says, they're just trying to get what your protocol should be, WebSocket or not. Well, but then it creates the WebSocket, right? And the WebSocket, that line 129 is the protocol, whether it's HTTPS or HTTP. And then it creates a WebSocket under this URL, though. I mean, I can console log this, basically. See, let's step... Where's my debug stuff? Step over that. And if I go into console and I put this in there, it becomes that. That's the WebSocket I need to connect to, right? That's on the web, folks. I should be able to connect to that. Oops. I wonder, what can I use to try and connect to this? We can probably take the stream notes taker bot. Stream note taker. William says maybe their server uses IP to know which socket to send the phone's command to. Maybe. Stream element socket. Actually, I can probably do this in the browser, right? Let's not even do this. Let's not do this. Close that. Let's go into what's a good in editor. Coder.com. No. Code sandbox. IO. I think this one will be open editor. Bump it up a little bit. Dependencies. Add dependencies. Let's say socket.io. Okay. Socket IO client. That's what I want, actually. Now if we go to this is gonna be sick. Socket.io. William says, I bet the phone uses HTTP and the socket connection only gets the command to change the color. I mean, I'll take whatever I can get. Learn documentation. client. So we want that. I also need this. Or can I just do... Oh, you can do import. Import socket IO client. That comment says, sorry I've been away for most of the stream. There is an LIFX LAN protocol API and the LIFX HTTP REST API. Which one are we using? So we were using the let's back up and get you on the same page as us, .com. What I'm trying to do is, like, I want to be able to, I'm going to be at a conference and I won't have this light bulb. I mean, what I could potentially do is like set up a camera that points to the light bulb and then show that on my phone as part of the talk, which could be cool, but that might be more work than like, I mean, what's the value add for that, right? It might be just like a bunch of, it might be gimmicky, you know? But what there's also available is this virtual light bulb through LIFX. And so I'm wondering if I just change my code to, so I have it to where it'll know whether I'm in production mode or I'm in local mode. And if I'm in local mode, then it will just connect to the virtual light bulb. And we could see that change and do the effects that we expect it to do based on what the AI interprets it to do, right? As a result of the AI interpretation. So that's what I'm thinking we might be able to do. And so I figured let's test that out. Let's try that out and then call it a day after that. Source code says you should be able to see the connections and data in the network tab. Yeah, but for some reason it didn't. Oh, I guess there it is. Robotail says filtered by WS. Oh. Am I showing something I probably shouldn't show? Nope, I didn't, luckily. It was in the request headers. There's a WebSocket key. Look at the messages. Okay, that's, yeah, but the message is fine because I'll end up using the API. I'm not worried about the messages. Well, let me show you what I'm looking at here. It's just a JSON object. Source code says you might need that header when connecting yourself. Yeah. I don't want to show it because it's got a key that I don't know what it might be revealing, you know? .com says, oh, virtual light. Thanks for getting me up to speed. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so what I did to test this out is I have the app where I'm not signed into my account actually, and I just say, hey, let me connect to the virtual bulb here. Which leads us to having, I can't do it right now. I'd have to refresh the connection. It must generate a new key every time, I guess. Which, if it's generating a new key every time from the app, then that means I'm not going to be able to really code this up now, can I? There is a having trouble connecting. Oh, virtual bulb. Wondering what that is. What is the LIFX bulb? Virtual bulb, blah, blah, blah. Keep in mind, the real thing is way cooler. Yeah, okay, we know. Was this article helpful? Download the free LIFX app for iOS and Android and see what you can do with the LIFX bulb. Make sure your mobile device and computer with the virtual bulb page are on the same network, which will happen. I can connect this thing, this other phone, to the same conference network as my laptop's going to be connected to. William says, I don't think that key has anything to do with your account since you're not logged in. Yeah, that's true. I think it just keeps refreshing to a new key. I'm going to check, actually, really quick. Let me copy the key down. Put that somewhere over here. So if I refresh this page, get rid of that debug breakpoint, play. I come back to here. It's connected. Look at the network. Yeah, they're new keys every time. If I change it. So yeah, once I connect, so each session has a new key. So what I could do is before the talk, assuming I can get this working, is just grab the key. You know? Ryan Roberts, hey, what's up? You look like Chris from Mr. Beast. I don't know. What's Mr. Beast? Tell me more. So yeah, I think actually that looks the same to me. No, that's the same. WebSocket key. So in the request header, that key is the same every time. The response header is the accept key. Security WebSocket accept token is different. Okay. What if I like completely refresh? Oh, no, that changed. What am I saying? Yeah, it keeps changing. All right. Either way, I can capture it ahead of time, stay connected to it, and do it. He's a clickbaiter in YouTube. Oh. Well. Interesting. All right. So, the question is, can we connect to this programmatically? I'm on the same network. I've got the socket.io. Da, 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 da. You can all see my screen now. Okay. Socket equals that. Socket.new. What am I doing wrong? What doesn't it like about this? IO is not defined. Import IO as that, right? How do you import now? There we go. And instead, we want to connect to this. Sourcecoot with the 100 bits. Have to leave. Good luck with the rest of the stream. Probably watching the VOD later to see how it's done. All right, cool. Thanks for being here. Thank you for the bits. Sourcecoot, appreciate it, man. Have a good rest of your day. So we want to connect to that. Is there a way to see the console in that? Oh boy. Access to that from origin. Oh, cross origin problems. All right, so I'm gonna have to do this. I can't do this in the browser like this, can I? Okay, bye. Time for sleep. All right, Pranav, have a good night. All right, let's do this in our Node app then. Twitch stream note taker. Network is not working too. I don't have any current changes going on, do I? Create a branch off of this just to be.
Peanut butter jelly time. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Do the peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat. Now where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Now peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Do the peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly.
Woo! Okay, enough of that. Thank you for that, Pranav. Have a good night. Let's debug this sucker. Unauthenticated. Ooh. I think I need to not do that. Test. Breakpoint there. Let's try and run it. Oh, I didn't realize what time it is. I got meetings and other stuff I got to do. Good night, Pranav. So I guess we never connected. Socket never connected. Do they have an on error as well? Events. What are all the events they have? Is there like a connection error? Whoa, what's this? By default, output is suppressed, and you can opt into seeing messages by supplying the debug environment variable Node.js or the local storage debug property. The best way to see what information is available is to use star. That's cool. Learned something new today. Stop this. Terminal. Robert Tables is Clark. Event connect error. Let's listen to that then. I'll also turn on the debug mode. Socket. Nobody saw that. Typed the very wrong thing right there. Put a breakpoint here. Okay, so what we're gonna do is say debug equals star node hyphen hyphen inspect break. What's my entry file here? Index.js. If you're not familiar with what I just did right there, hyphen hyphen inspect hyphen brk means it will break on like the very first or one of the earlier lines of code to make sure everything's kind of hunky-dory, and then we can tell VS Code to attach to that debugger, which is that one. And there we go. You see it breaks on the very first line of index.js. So now I have control over the flow from the start of node running. If you did it without break, it's not going to work until you're not going to be able to hit breakpoints that are at this level if you had some, by the way. By that context, you know what I mean? I'm not explaining this well. But like something where an event happens, like at this on the socket, and I have a breakpoint here, then, in fact, I need to put a breakpoint there. Then it will catch all that. See, like that. Okay. Error. What's the error? WebSocket error. Transport error. Description. Unexpected server response 301. WebSocket 301 response. What does that mean? I've got the same issue here. According to the article below, it seems that the HTTP error 301 indicates that the server has been moved to another URL, but I still wonder how to solve the issue now. So 301 is HTTP permanent redirect. Oh, okay. Oh, it's probably trying to redirect me to, because I put in, all right, let's stop this. Look at all these logging messages and stuff. Ah. Probably should not do that. Let's just get the error and not run the debug thing. Close this. Let's go back in here and tell it to do HTTPS instead. It might be that. Can I do WSS WebSockets like that? Thank you for the follow, Dev Drew. Happy to have you here. Welcome. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask them in the chat room. No question is a stupid question. Otherwise, if you want to just lurk, that's cool too. Sit back, relax, and let's learn together. We are working on trying to connect to the LIFX virtual bulb WebSocket server that they have to see if I can use that as part of the demo of this talk. That's what's happening. What's happening with you, Dev Drew? And for whatever reason, because that happens way too fast, follow, thanks, Dev Drew. There you go. Check out that video. That clip. Okay, I think that might work. Let's try it this way now. We'll hit that breakpoint. Play. I don't need this breakpoint anymore. What's the error? Honest. Now it's saying 404. Okay, so we're making a difference. It matters what the socket. So if I do HTTPS maybe. Drew says, thank you, Clark. And I found your stream on Reddit and it looked interesting. Okay, cool. Yeah. So yeah, I'm working on the demo portion of that talk. Before we were talking through the outline, which I feel way better and confident in the talk now that we have an outline. So if you want to check out the video on demand, you might be able to get a little bit more familiar with where we started out from the beginning of the stream. Devdrew says, I'm what you would call a noob developer. Well, that's perfectly fine, and we're happy to have people that are new to development. We try our best to, I don't know, be as accessible as possible in regard to level of experience when talking through stuff. So I do my best to explain things, but there's this thing that I've heard called the curse of knowledge, right? So there's things that I take for granted that I know about, that I had learned earlier on in my career and got experience in, that I forget that not everybody necessarily knows about that. So if there is ever a thing where I say, Dev Drew, that you don't know about, please, I truly mean it. Don't hesitate to ask me, like, what is this tool you're using? Or what is that word that you typed on the screen called VAR, right? Like, seriously, no question is a stupid question. So, and I hope you start seeing that. And everybody, a lot of the people here that are frequent flyers of the stream are very kind and welcoming as well, and will help you out as best they can too. Robert Taylor says, Clarkio, at least after this progress, you just have to iterate. After this progress? What do you mean? See if this works now. Still an error. Still 404. What if I just do this? Because the thing is, I don't know how Socket.io is connecting to that WebSocket, you know? Robert Taylor says, after getting this all figured out and written down, you aren't starting from a blank canvas. You just have to refine what you have. That's what I meant. Oh, yeah. That refinement is time consuming though still, you know? Why didn't it? Still getting an error. Oh, 200. Unexpected server response 200. What? How is that a problem? $200 is good. What's up, McNerdius? I agree. What? Saying transport error? Error. Success. Yeah. Why is that an error? Maybe there's something to the way Socket.io is connecting here. Successfully failed task, says Ronan. Yes. .com, he says, error? Okay. Ronan says, my favorite thing is the API I'm integrating with at work this week has a 200 status code with errors in the response. Oh my gosh. That's kind of silly. Robert Taylor, unexpected error, success, press cancel to continue. Oh God. Take me to socket.open. Auto connect false. What are the options for this? Manually opens the socket. Well, no shiznit, Sherlock. Fell into the pit, success on the way. Ronan says pro level UX right there. Yeah, this DevX is horrifying. All right, what are some of our options to pass into the socket? Maybe it's something I can do there. Oh, maybe it's a namespace. No, I'm doing it right there. They can do that. Look at that. Why can't I scroll back over now? Oh, that's going to annoy me. Ronan says, back on lurk mode. Got to get this API done. Good luck. Fun listening. All right, Ronan. Thank you for being here, man. Good luck with getting that API done. I should be going too. I seriously need to. I have other meetings and stuff I need to get handled. All right, I think, you know what? I hate, you all know how much I really, not hate, hate's a strong word. I dislike ending the stream without concluding something. But you know I will catch you all up, or if you remind me to catch you all up on where I land with this. This might be too much of a rabbit hole for me to go down. I might just, like, and this is all about demoing the end result, you know? Robert Taylor says, it happens. We all know that, buddy. Yeah. It's just that I don't want to spend too much more time on this, and I got other stuff I need to tend to today. You still going to be streaming on Friday? Yes, this Friday I'll stream. I'll probably be more of this. So I'm hoping, my plan is, yeah, Friday will probably be building out the deck more, which means I need to get PowerPoint on this computer because I don't have it on this computer. I like using PowerPoint because I like using the slide transition called Morph. It's amazing, and I want to show you all it. It ends up creating animations for you that are like, makes it super simple to create animations for you in your slides. I need to show you this. So yeah, Friday will be normal stream. The only changes in schedule, which I'll share again on Friday, is next Wednesday's stream, a week from today, will most likely be, it's like 95% sure I'm going to cancel it and not stream remotely from my talk. Joel, thank you so much for the follow. Happy to have you here. Welcome. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in chat. No question is a stupid question. Otherwise, if you like to lurk, sit back, relax, and let's learn together. Robert Table says, on the slide deck is obviously running in a Docker container. And the slide deck. Yeah, yes. Which we still got to get you on, man. Maybe next Friday. Can you do next Friday at 12:30 Eastern? So we can figure out the Docker thing with Dockerizing the chatbot? Because that would have been part of this talk. But being that I haven't gotten it quite working yet, it's not. All right, let's stop this. Go back to full cam. Yes, blocking off my schedule now. Okay, so all right, we'll plan to have you on Friday, next Friday then. We'll do the Docker. We'll Docker it. And we'll say Docker, Docker, Docker. And Robert Tables will just show up on stream. All right, folks. So now comes the time where we start closing things out. I haven't been very bad about updating the stream notes with timestamps today. So this is happening. We never did a stretch break. This is what happens when you stress about a talk. This is what happens. Timestamp 03:13:00 closing. Who should we, if you have any suggestions while I start closing things out and whatnot, if you have suggestions who we go raid, please feel free to let me know. But let's kind of like recap what we did today. So we did our normal warm-up. Talked about the coffee mug. It's not really a coffee mug. Chair popped on. We didn't really have a Bauer appearance, and he's been busy sleeping. But you did see his tail a little bit, so you kind of got that. We did change the category from just chatting to science and technology. I'm glad to remind myself of that. Jay Felly says, enjoyed your stream. Catch you all later. All right, thank you, Jay Felly. If you all could actually stick around for a moment or two longer, if you want, it's up to you. But what we like to do at the end of the stream is go raid another programmer that's streaming on Twitch. Okay? So please, if you can, stick around for that. Also, at the end of the stream, those of you that followed, those of you that subscribed, cheered, and did other ways of supporting the stream, I have end credits that will give you an extra thank you at the end there, show up on the screen with your name as another little nod to you to say thanks. So stick around for that. But yeah, so we made some progress in terms on the talk, which I feel good about. I feel a little less stressed now. Thank you all for like kind of being here with me. And talking through this stuff with me and having that outline done, that makes me feel a lot better on the direction of where I'm heading with the talk. So Holloway says InstaFluff, Codebase Alpha, and Codephobia. We haven't rated InstaFluff in a while, so maybe we'll go there. Oh, Retro says Code Rush is streaming. All right. Well, I think I'm going to go with InstaFluff today. We'll get Code Rush another day. Parathon says, thanks for the stream, Clarkio. Have a great rest of your week. Thank you for being here, Parathon. Dev Drew says, thanks for the stream. Thank you, Dev Drew. William Coe, thank you for being here. Says great stream as well. Appreciate it all. All right, so Friday will probably be more talk prep in case you're interested in seeing progress on that. I'll try my best to make it so that I'll get this machine set up so we can build out the slides on here. Since I'm always on my laptop for presentations, that's where I generally go to do it, to build out the slides and whatnot. So we'll see what happens with that. Robert Taylor says, Clark, I was watching the Star Trek TNG with InstaFluff, his first time live on rabbit.tv. Super fun time. Oh, interesting. Okay. All right, so thank you so much for being here. Since we forgot to do the stretch break, make sure you do your stretch, folks. If you don't know the stretch, it's arms out, thumbs up, arms pushed to the back, turn them down, feel good, and then carpal tunnel. Press your wrists together, bend them down a little bit, and you'll feel it right at the top there. Do that stick around for the end of the stream credits. We're going to go raid somebody. If you want to get connected, check out with me on social media and whatnot. Here's all my links to social media on the Twitterverse, GitHub, Instagram, all that fun stuff. Or really great place to get real-time access to me a lot of times because I'm always in my Discord server. There's a link to get the invite to join there. All the folks that you see here that are warm and welcoming and helping, especially if you're new to programming, feel free to pop in there and start asking questions, talk about projects you might be working on, applying for jobs, internships, what have you. We discuss all that kind of stuff there in the Discord server. Great place to stay connected. I'm actually surprised. I always say this, I know, and you're like, Brian, those of you that have been around are probably like, Brian, you're a broken record. But like the Discord thing is like a pleasant surprise that I never would have thought to put together. And shout out to Rival for suggesting that originally. Robert Taylor says, thank you for sharing your insight and process preparing for the talk. I really enjoy seeing how my peers do stuff like that. Yes. Yes. Yes, yes. Yeah. I feel, well, yes. I feel like what I was going to say is I feel like there's different types of preparation too, right? Because like you might be preparing for a completely new talk, in which case I would not be starting a week out. Well, technically I started building out the slides using the conference template last week, like the end of last week on Thursday and Friday. So I technically started last week. But if it was a new talk, I would have procrastinated and probably started a week out, but I don't recommend doing that. It's even more stressful. So this is more of like taking an existing talk I've done, but like repurposing it in a better way for the audience that I might have. So that's what we were doing today. All right. Well, thank you for sticking around with me. We're going to go raid InstaFluff. But first, let's close it out with a little song that I like to close the stream out with. Those of you that know it know what to expect. Those of you that don't know, get ready. And now the time has come. There we go. It's sad time that we're ending the stream. I'm going to miss you all until Friday. Oh. That timing. What's up, everybody? Oh, goodness. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. This is normally what I do when people raid. I dance like a dad in a chair. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here, and thank you so much, Xavier Cons, for the raid. Very big raid. Thank you all for joining. My name is Brian Clark, aka Clarkio. I do a lot of JavaScript development, that kind of programming on here. And today we were working on preparing for a talk that I have coming up in a week from today. Well, a week and a day. And Goon Pontoon, thank you so much for suggesting the raid. However, I was just about to go raid somebody else. So those of you that want to stick around and hang out, we're going to go raid a buddy of ours, InstaFluff, and just keep the raid going. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for the raid. I would totally love to keep going right now, especially with that huge raid from Xavier. It's super cool of you all. But I'll have to check you out some other time, unfortunately. But InstaFluff will be very excited. I don't think you will be disappointed. Trust me. He's a good dude. But seriously, check back here if you want to get connected with me and find out more about this channel and stream. Here are my links on social media and our Discord server, all that fun stuff. Feel free to click that follow button if you're interested, if you're so inclined. You get a better idea of what I am like. Also, this clip here is a little introduction to the stream and what we can do. A lot of stuff like you can control the light bulb, which is what my talk is about. You control the AI-powered light bulb through commands in chat and the color of the overlay that goes along with it, and all kinds of cool effects you do with that. Sound effects, a lot of stuff that we've done, we built here live on stream. Goon Pontoon says InstaFluff was my other suggestion anyways. Okay, cool, awesome. Thank you, Goon Pontoon. I really appreciate that suggestion. And thank you, Xavier. Let me know if I'm mispronouncing that. Out of respect, I want to get it right, but I'm going to say Xavier. Thank you so much for the huge raid. I hope you had a great stream, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye, everybody. Have a good rest of your day, and say hello to InstaFluff for me, okay? Peace. That's not what I want.
Final curtain, my friend, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, it's uncertain,
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Heck.
Yeah, boy!
Leroy Jenkins!
Get good, Brian.